Welcome to the Big Week in Gaming podcast. And what do you know? It's been a big week in gaming. I'm Intergov for episode 85 for Sunday, the 26th of June, 2022. In this week's show, we'll be discussing the new PS Plus launches in Australia, our thoughts and impressions. Final Fantasy XVI director spills the beans about some big unanswered questions. Legendary Japanese developer Treasure are teasing a new game. And what will FromSoftware's next game be?
Shut up! Bigwig's on the radio! Shut up! It's gaming focused audio!
As always, I'm joined by Swinny.
Hello.
And Mike.
Hello.
He's not here, people. He's not here. I can't say as always. I'm gonna start tweaking this.
If you couldn't tell, Mike wasn't here just from the fact that nobody was talking over the intro song, then
yeah, exactly.
Mike is on assignment this episode. He is unable to be here. So.
Family assignment. Yes, that's right. And if you want to check out all our links, jump into the description or go to bigwigpod.com. You've got something in the community tab before we kick on to what we've been playing.
Yeah, so we've been putting up a bunch of PS Plus related clips over the last few weeks, and obviously there's a segment today about it as well that you just mentioned. But I think there's a lot of people out there that are a little confused and have lots of questions around the services launching, and just a lot of people just very. Let's just say giving wrong information, like, I have the service and PS3 streaming is available in Australia. I can say for a fact it is not available in Australia unless you somehow happen to have an international account.
Exactly.
And it's available to you.
Yeah, exactly. And that's actually, maybe let's save it to the PS Plus discussion, but I get really annoyed with the Australian gaming media as well. We're not going to make any friends at all. The publishers are going to hate us. The games. This is good about being independent. We don't care. It doesn't matter how big we are. It's like we can just shit on everyone, but we can be honest. I just think I'll call it out, man. People are not being honest about the service, and it pisses me off actually. But yes,
you talking games media or you talking mainstream media? Or what
well, the mainstream media doesn't even care. It's amazing how little mainstream media talks about video games, given it's the number one form of entertainment. And now look at how much they dedicate to like movies or TV shows, and then gaming, it's like nothing. Like you have to have a game like Elden Ring for them to go, oh, this is just a silly little game called Elden Ring that 5 people are playing. It's like, what the hell? This is so bizarre to me.
Yeah, or you have to have a console launch. Like they're the only times people that those outlets will pay attention is, there's something big people are talking about. But if it's, as you mentioned, if it's just even like the latest Call of Duty, like which is huge in the video game space and like it's millions and millions and millions of dollars. You got no newspapers and know, like look, they'll have a games part in there that they'll talk about it. But it's not making front page news when, like Elden Ring is revealed,
Yeah, but like, and I'm not expecting front page news, obviously, but where they have articles about, like they'll have 5 articles about Top Gun Maverick. Literally. And, video games, nothing. Breath of the Wild come out with like no articles. I'm like, this is so weird. Anyway, we're well off track right now. Amazingly more off track than when Mike is here. All right, let's jump into what we've been playing. So Mike is actually on assignment for us. He's doing some investigative journalism into the Australian games media. He's going to expose their lies. No. In terms of what we've been playing this week. So starting with me this time, I've been playing a little bit of Fall Guys. So I tried this on Switch, right? And like this game is really fun. You can like tell straight away. Fun game. I do feel like, I'm so we're so past the zeitgeist of this game. Even though in the last 48 hours there's been 20 million people who have played this game. Like 48 hours after it launched into free to play. There's 20 million players. Like that's insane, right? And, they had a lot of server issues, which I think, you can kind of understand. But I don't know. There's 2 things. Like, I just feel like I was so past the zeitgeist of this game. It feels a bit like, yeah, it's fun, but I miss the fun, the true fun or the novelty of it. And the other thing is, dude, like you should try this game on Switch. It's so rough, man. It's so
Are you
rough.
you talking visually, you talking internet wise?
Like all above, right? Because the problem with Switch and the best thing about it, it's like weakness and strength is it's portable, right? So even you don't even have it plugged in wired when you have it like set up, right? Like you have it wireless, right? Whereas I think in the console space, they, number one, have much better Wi-Fi modems. And number two, it's much more common to have people who plug it in, like to LAN, because you've got that port natively. And that's just more normal. But man, like, I do kind of want you to download this on Switch. The visuals are so rough. It's like almost embarrassing. Like the frame rate is like...
We're talking Switch version.
Though. Yeah, Switch version.
Yeah.
It's so freaking rough, man. Like I'm almost like surprised they released it. Like that's how bad it is. I can't emphasize it enough. Like it's so choppy. It's so janky. I'm like, damn, man, this is really kind of crazy to me.
Do you think a lot of people will care that much about that part of it though? Like the internet part, I can see because that really impacts your actual like playing experience.
Yeah, probably not.
I'm just thinking the kind of game it is. Although they're selling, I'm assuming they're doing this for the Switch version as well because it's free to play on Switch.
Yeah, it's free to play on all platforms now.
So the fact that they're obviously spruiking a lot more cosmetics as part of this free play thing, like that, visually is you want that to look good. So if that stuff looks rough, then that's not good. But
it's not just like, hey, this is running at 30 frames per second. Like a game like Fortnite on the Switch, I never had an issue with. It feels very solid. It's not, I can't remember. It's not like 60 frames per second, but it's just very solid 30, I think. This game just feels like it dips in and out. Like, this screen that we're seeing in the B-roll, if you're watching the YouTube clip or like watching the YouTube stream, it's like super jittery. Like, I don't know. It actually was like so bad. I was like, okay, I would not play this on Switch if we were all to play it. Like, I would love to play this with friends. Like that's where it's fun, I think. But I wouldn't play it on the Switch, and I think that would have been the normal place I would have played it. So
did you have to like log into like an Epic account to play it as well on Switch?
No, I didn't log into anything. I just started playing it. But I don't know how that works because maybe I'd logged into my Epic account with Fortnite. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like maybe there's some kind of thing on my console, like almost like a cookie. I don't know. But I didn't.
Rocket League. I don't know if Rocket League.
Yeah, Rocket League. I'm not sure. Like I just jumped straight in. Like from that perspective, really cool, right? But look, like I totally recommend people checking it out. I wouldn't recommend it on the Switch if you're not sure, but it's free to play, so you can actually. That's the cool thing about free to play, right? If I bought this on the Switch, I actually would have been pissed. I must admit. Like I would almost want a refund. That's how bad it is for me. Like just how choppy it is. And I probably should have like split up these games because you know what? I'm going to do it on the fly. Right? What else have been playing?
Are you sure about that?
Yes. I got the balls.
Lock it in, Larry.
Lock it in because I don't want to just shit on all these games. I've also picked up Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes this week, being the massive... I don't think I'm a weeb, but I feel like I'm becoming more and more like a weeb. It did feel a little bit embarrassing because I pre-ordered it, so I needed to engage with someone to talk about the game to go get it, right?
What? Wait. Look, okay, liking Fire Emblem doesn't make you a weeb. Obviously, it has...
it's pretty weebish. It's pretty weebish.
There's weeb elements, but I mean, you are a weeb if you are like just constantly engaging with all that kind of
anime,
stuff all the time.
Stuff, yeah.
And it's the only thing you like.
Which is not the case for me.
No.
But
You're fine.
I was embarrassed because I was like, it's an embarrassing title just to explain to someone. Fire Emblem.
I think it's more damning that you're playing a Warriors game than you're playing something that's like a weep.
Fair call. I like this is which I hate this kind of term, but a guilty pleasure. The Warriors games now for me. It's a guilty pleasure. It's stupid games, but they're fun. But the idiot me, I go, hey, can I get Fire Emblem? I pre-ordered a game. It's a long title. She's like, all right, cool. I didn't know a game's coming out today. I'm like, can I get Fire Emblem Warriors? And she's like, oh, like what? This is JB Hi-Fi. Fire Emblem Warriors. And this is me. Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Houses. I kept saying, right?
Oh no.
And she's like, I don't know what this game is. I'm like, this is... Right, so I'm the nerd saying to her. And then she's looking and she's like, I got Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes. I'm like, oh my God, I'm kind of embarrassed, but that's the game that I'm talking about. I'm like, I'm the idiot here. But
trust me, there are games that like, imagine calling up something like Hyper Neptunia, Mega Overdrive. Like, you know, they're the games that are very, that's weeb territory. I'm nothing against those games or people play them, but I think you're fine with Fire Emblem, but that is pretty funny. That is funny. That is
actually,
funny.
with the names, she was like, oh, you know, some of these games have really long names. And in my old age, I had this process in my brain, which was, oh, I've got an example of that. And I was going to tell her. And I thought, that's a real nerdy thing to do. I might not, right? Because I was going to say something like, you know, The Legend of Zelda, Crypt of the Necrodancer, Cadence of Hyrule. It's like full title.
You should have said the sequel to the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild for Nintendo Switch.
And she would have been like, okay, yes. All right, see you later, man. Yeah, look, hey, really cool game. I really like it. I'll look to review it. It's just...
Sorry, like we spent like all that time talking about
the name of the game.
Not the game.
It's a really cool game. I really, really like it, man. And the demo is awesome. Like, the demo really gives you a good taste for the game. I hate the Monster Hunter demos because it's very unrealistic, the settings that they put you in. It's a bit like Dark Souls, which I didn't kind of really know. I know that you said that to me. Like, hey, the network test isn't like Dark Souls, right? And I'm trying to fight one of, like, the Dark Knights or Black Knights or whatever they're called, like, straight away. Like, that was the first encounter in Dark Souls for me. I'm like, this game is fucking impossible. How do people play this game, right? Which is kind of funny now when I think about it. But yeah, no, this game's really, really cool.
From all the footage I've seen, it seems to run way better than the latest Horror Warriors Age of Calamity.
Yes. It is choppy every now and then, but that game, Age of Calamity, and I love that game. Genuinely love that game. It gets better, like, as you get into the game, which is kind of bad in a way for the way they structured it, but that game was pretty bad, like, in terms of its choppiness. But I just love the game so much, I just sort of, you know, looked past it, brushed past it. But what I do love about this, what I wanted to mention, is, you know, in Fire Emblem Three Houses, which is the main game, the actual strategy game, you pick one of three paths, essentially, like one of the three houses, and it's different aspects of the story. So real hardcore people actually go through 3 playthroughs to see the different aspects of the story. And the thing I really love about this is I played, what was it called? The Claude's house. I can't remember the name of the house. And I was like, actually in the Warriors game, I might play Edelgard's house to see, like, you know, what happens in that story. And I won't ruin it or anything like that. But it's actually pretty cool. I'm like, damn, this is kind of doing another playthrough a little bit because it's set. And again, I don't want to ruin anything, but it's sort of set in the middle of the Three Houses story, which, you know, like, also I haven't finished Three Houses, weirdly enough. I'm right at the end of it. But like, I'm at a part in this game where it's like not even where it's up to in Three Houses. But yeah, really, really cool game. I like look to review it, but it's freaking super long. I think it's like 50, 60 hours long. So I don't know, it might not be for a while that I actually finish it. But yeah, I'll jump back to this other game that I was playing this week, which is Diablo Immortal. So I finally tried it out because you guys were talking about it. I don't know if this is a good game, man. Like, I'm just parking all the microtransaction stuff. Have you played this game?
No, so I played a lot of Diablo 3, like
a
shitload. But I haven't played Diablo 2 Remastered. I have played the Diablo 1 and 2 back when they first came out. Haven't played Immortal just because I was like, I just can't deal with like a 10 gig download on my phone for this. So I just didn't kind of...
But you can play it on PC.
Yeah, but I wanted to try it on phone for that experience. Like, that was, to me, like, first and foremost, this was designed as a mobile game. So, yeah, anyway, how was it?
Look, I say that's an interesting thing that I probably, like, I'm not being fair to it because you're right. It is a mobile game, and it even feels like a mobile game. Like, the way that it works, it doesn't work properly on my computer, and I think it's because my start menu, I always put my start menus at the top of the screen, not at the bottom. right? Like it's always what I do with any operating system, whatever, right? And I don't think the game understands that. So I can't get it into a setting where I can put it in full screen without seeing my start menu all the time.
Oh, that's weird.
Right? It's like there's no way to do it. I think it's like a, obviously very beta, right, version of the game.
You've got 2 screens set up here.
Yeah, but I'll put it on the other one. It won't work. It's like really weird. And it's, obviously it says like tap to start. And like there's no way to go into the settings straight away. It's very like janky in that way. But I mean, I got to be fair to it to some degree. It is a mobile game, but I'm kind of judging it as a PC game because that's where I played it. And I don't know, man, like I get the loop of it. And I think I definitely think Diablo 3, Diablo 2, Resurrected would be awesome. Like, I know I'd love those games. Just the way they work, I just know that I'd love them. And I haven't played them. But this, like the way it controls, it's kind of really kind of shitty. And there's no way to fix it. Like, you can use WASD, but you're normally like clicking to attack, but then that sort of assumes that's where you're going as well. Do you know what I mean? So it's like you click to attack, but then if you just misclick a little bit, your character will start moving off. And I'm like looking through the settings, I can't seem to change that. And I don't really want to have attack as a keyboard thing because it's sort of like I want to be able to look around with the mouse. I don't know. It's just I played a bit of it for like an hour or so, and I'm like, this game's kind of like shit, man. Like if it was called anything else, even if it didn't have the microtransactions, I'd be like, it's not that fun. Like, I just feel like there's a million games way better than this. And I actually liked playing Minecraft. Is it called Minecraft Legends? It's like the Diablo clone?
It's Minecraft Dungeons.
Dungeons.
Legends is the new like action strategy game.
Yeah.
So.
Which is just a total clone of Diablo, really, with Minecraft.
Oh, yeah.
And I love that game. That was freaking cool. Like, I was playing it, and I'm like, I got to put this game down, because I'm going to get, like, hooked on this game, because it's a very addictive game loop. So, yeah, not a fan of Diablo Immortal. Like, parking all the microtransactions. Once you add that in as well, I'm like, this game legitimately is shit, and which is unfortunate. So, and then finally, I am, like... back on the drug of Monster Hunter.
Back at it.
Well, I kind of fucked up. You know how I said, all right, I'm going to get Sunbreak because you were teasing me that I'm getting the amiibo, but I'm not getting the game. Which is fair, which is kind of like stupid, right? So I'm like, stuff you then. I'll buy the game just to prove you wrong. Anyway, so I'm like, okay, cool. What do I need to do to play Sunbreak? Like, can I just play it? And I'm checking it out. I'm like, holy shit, you have to finish stuff in Monster Hunter Rise to actually play Sunbreak. Like, you can't just play Sunbreak.
That's the way all their like stuff's worked. Or
Well,
at least
I didn't play it.
like Iceborne was, I should
But
say.
I think that's the only one that they've done like that, right?
Yeah, you might be right. So Iceborne, yeah, but like,
So I'm unfamiliar with one Monster Hunter game. I'm getting ripped. All right.
No, I like that. That's on me. But what I was kind of getting at was
They've
whenever
got a
they've
pattern
added
now,
additional content, it's kind of like the high rank stuff. Is kind of what I'm getting at. The high rank hunts and things.
Yeah, or even like a next level above high rank, right? In a way.
Yeah. So because I know that, look, I don't know about Rise's end game and stuff, but I know with World that beating the last boss was almost like 60% of the way to kind of the full content of the game. You know.
Yeah, and that was definitely like this. Like you roll the credits, all that kind of stuff, but there's still a shit ton of content. And just what I prioritized, because I wasn't playing much multiplayer or just like soloing the harder hunts. So I played a bunch of the game, but I kind of missed out on all this other stuff. And then when I checked the requirements and I'm like Googling it, I'm like, wait, what, like, how do I get this? And I look through it, I'm like, oh my God, I gotta like play all this other stuff that literally, it's like all the stuff I avoided pretty much. Is all the stuff I needed to do. So I've just been playing like all these hunts and I'm like, man, this game is like, actually, I can see how people get so addicted to this game. Cause I'm like, oh, damn it. All right, I got to get a better weapon. Like I play Insect Glaive and I'm like, oh, I need to get that. Okay, I got to go hunt this monster to go harvest the parts. And then, I got to get that. I got to Google, how can I farm this item quicker? And I'm like, this is how people get addicted to this game.
Yeah, World was the same for me. Like I was I was shocked to learn that I put like 200 hours into that game or something.
Oh, I could totally see it.
It was like, and it didn't feel like it because the thing is like each hunt like would take like sometimes 10, 15 minutes or something, you know, sometimes longer, but and then like, oh, I'll just do 3 hunts today, and then but then that's you get stuck and then you're in the hub area upgrading your gear, and you like 2 hours has gone by and you're like, oh shit, you know.
And there's so many layers to the game. And for someone like me, because you're like normally like a bit like Mike, like a little bit of a min-maxer, break the system, figure it out. You want to know the minutia, which is smart, right? But I'm just not wired like that for whatever reason. Like if you're talking about work, I'm like that. But with games, I'm not. It's really weird, right? It's just like with work, I'm like really min-maxing everything. But with games, I never do that. I'm almost like, fuck that. I couldn't be bothered with any of that shit, right? Like I've never even captured a monster in Monster Hunter.
Wow.
Right? I've been in hunts where people have captured them and I'm like almost shitty. I'm like, I want to kill this monster and carve it up. Right? But I there's been quests I've been on where it's like, capture this monster and then I just kill it and then I fail the quest.
That's hilarious.
It's so dumb, right? But
because it's almost easier to capture monsters.
Oh, it's way easier. I think it's always easier pretty much from what I see. But this game, man, the levels and the layers of this game, it's so crazy. Like just all these little things you can do, or like systems. Like there's so many systems. And I've played it for like 50 hours and I'm seriously like still getting my head around the insect glaive, like how to, you know, do everything that I want to do with it.
Are you happy that I got, not that this person's probably using it in that well, but are you happy I got B-roll this season?
Yeah, well, yeah, shout out to you. I was actually joking about that, but I'm very impressed that you got the insect glaive B-roll.
Should probably give credit to the channel. I can't remember what it is. But
oh, well, sorry. But insect glaive is a mad weapon. I love it. Like actually it's pretty rarely used by other people. And it's actually hilarious when I play multiplayer and there's some dude who comes on with insect glaive as well.
Sorry, I'll just say that the channel is Arc the Ladder. So I'll just
Arc
give
the
some
Ladder.
credit to
Shout
Arc
out
the
to
Ladder
Arc the Ladder for the B-roll. Yeah, but like this is an awesome game. I was just trying to get to the spot where I can go, okay, I can start playing Sunbreak so then I can put Monster Hunter Rise down and then go back to Three Hopes. But I was literally just doing some hunts like right before starting the show. I still got like, I think maybe 5 more hunts to go to satisfy the requirement and then I could play Sunbreak. And I'm like, by that time, I think Sunbreak's coming out on the 30th, like on Thursday.
Well, with World, you had to actually like do the high rank stuff to even face the proper last boss. Like,
yeah,
it's like post credits, but it was like, that was almost like, this is where the real world, Monster Hunter World begins. So I don't know if it's the same in Rise.
Oh, it's definitely the
like
same.
End game monster for high ranks.
You know, there definitely is. And it's...
Or master ranks or whatever the hell.
I don't think it's... Like, I think master ranks are going to be in Monster Hunter Sunbreak. I don't think Monster Hunter Rise. I might be wrong about that. I'm like, I could play this game for like 200 hours and I still wouldn't really know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, actually, I was right. They will add Master Rank in Sunbreak.
Yeah.
But you're totally spot on. Like Monster Hunter Rise, it's a bit like even like Mario Odyssey. You know, you could kind of storm through that game, and if you're just doing the bare minimum, you play like it's honestly like 40% of the game, I reckon. If you just go through the minimum of what you need to do in Odyssey. Like there's so much extra shit, and then like extra stuff past that. 3D World was the same, but yeah, so I don't know. It depends, like, you know, if you think you've clocked it or haven't clocked it, whatever. Like rolling the credits, is that clocking it? I don't know. Probably not really, to be fair, because there's so much extra content afterwards. But now I've had to do it all. So it's all good. But it's a freaking good game, man. Like it's just like, I don't know if I'll play the Monster Hunter game that inevitably is coming out on consoles, right? Like maybe next year or the year after. Like it's going to happen, yeah?
Yeah.
Because I feel like this is just so much Monster Hunter for me. I feel like I need a bit of a break.
Well, we've talked, I know we don't normally touch this stuff, but recently we've talked about like Dragon's Dogma 2 being part of the NVIDIA leak, and Monster Hunter, I think it was 5 or 6 or whatever.
Yeah, what do they call it?
basically the next Monster Hunter along with the Monster Hunter Rise PC port were both part of that stuff. Actually, the PC port may have come from the Capcom leak, but anyway, the surprise are working on a brand new Monster Hunter. Wouldn't be able to anticipate that one.
Oh, so they're calling it Monster Hunter 6 in the leak. I don't know if this is someone's translated it.
Well, also, like that stuff is also probably temp names and project names and things like that. So
I just think it's interesting because Monster Hunter 5 is Monster Hunter World. So it's almost like internally they're almost considering Rise not a mainline game almost at that point. Like a numbered mainline game. I don't know. You know how it gets weird with that shit?
Yeah.
But hey, look, like I love this game. I know it came out like 3 years ago, but yeah, I'm actually really looking forward to Sunbreak. Like I feel like I'll get more into the crafting and
3 years ago, wasn't it like the start of last year?
Was it? Oh, okay.
Rise is not that old. Like we were doing the show when
I feel like I'm
when Rise was announced.
Wait, did it come out this year? Oh no, that was a PC port.
No, it was early last year.
Yeah, it was like 15 months ago. Okay, I didn't feel so bad then. I didn't feel so bad. Normally, like I was playing Three Houses. I'm like, when did Three Houses come out? It came out like 2017.
You don't feel so bad. I literally have not played it for more than an hour. So
you own it, right?
Yeah, I played the first mission and then explored the hub area and then saved it and got back yet.
Let me know if you want to play it. I'll play it. I'm like way more overpowered.
You're setting yourself up for disappointment by asking that.
Well, actually, I know you're an arsehole with that stuff. But that's actually funny that you say that because I did... I kind of blame you, actually. This is the last thing I'll say, and then we'll go to the stuff you've been playing. I kind of blame you because I didn't play all the multiplayer quests because I'm like, I'll wait till Swinny starts playing it. Literally, this was my thought. And then I played all the village stuff, and that was kind of like credit roll endgame. So you're the reason why I had to play the game so much this week.
That's fair enough. I never play multiplayer in World. So even though that was huge. I played like one mission with Mike, and then he gave up on the game.
But do you just play those ones solo? The ones that
I played World solo. Yeah, I didn't play that multiplayer.
Even the ones that you can play multiplayer, like the more higher rank ones.
I just didn't play any multiplayer in World at all. I did it all solo.
But you did all the quests.
Yeah, like I didn't go and do any there's probably some multiplayer only ones that I didn't. That stuff doesn't surface itself in the main hub of Monster Hunter World, or at least in the vanilla game. You have to go to a separate hub for that stuff.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah,
I'm a little bit confused, but okay. Because I don't know if World and Rise are similar or different. Because it's like
I don't know, but I did.
There's like two hubs in Rise. There's Village Hub and Gathering Hub.
Yeah, same.
So you just didn't do Gathering Hub, or?
No, because I didn't do multiplayer stuff. So.
But you can play them solo. That's what I think I told you. I was playing the Gathering Hub one solo. I'm like, fuck, these are really fucking hard. Like, I had shit out of the game, am I right? I think it's so funny looking back. I would spend like 50 minutes trying to beat this fucking monster. I'm like, and then run out of time. I'm like, this is fucking impossible in this game. And then I didn't realize they're kind of intentionally made like that to play multiplayer. I'm like, that makes sense now. So... No, but a really cool game. Came out like 5 years ago, so you should get on. But what have you been playing, Swinny? Stuff.
So, I put that there so we don't jump straight into the B-roll of the first game, but I've fiddled around with some PS Plus stuff, which we'll talk about in the segment coming up, the new segment. Otherwise, we wouldn't really be able to give impressions if we didn't actually try it ourselves.
Wait. Have you signed up to it?
Well, the whole segment's called Impressions, yeah. So, as I said, I fiddled around with some PS Plus stuff.
Wait. Not to just Essential.
No, we'll talk about it in the segment.
You haven't told me this at all this week.
Yeah.
Okay,
so,
interesting.
well, I mean, if you read the title of the segment we've got, it says Impressions. So
I can have an impression without playing it, but yeah, go on.
Oh, yeah, right. So, fiddled around some of that stuff. Also randomly tried out some xCloud because, you know that Power Wave mount thing? That
I got one.
Yeah. So the one I've got for Xbox, I'm just going to try that. And I tried out a little bit of Turtles Shredder's Revenge just for a game to test on it. No, I was just testing it. I just wanted to test a game.
Yeah,
I just wanted to test a game. I still want to play that game with you guys.
Okay, yeah.
I'm like, it just felt like a good kind of game for that testing. And yeah, like my Wi-Fi infrastructure is just not good for that stuff because it's like, it was
Really?
just unplayable.
But that's a twitchy kind of game, don't you think? Though
It is, but as what I did, I wouldn't play this normally, but I turned off Wi-Fi and just tested out the game just using mobile data, and it was fucking awesome. Like using mobile data was so good and so playable. And
so you just got a bad Wi-Fi.
I think that's what it is, but it's like it was really good, and the mount worked well, but I think it's also I think I'd probably prefer a lighter phone to do that kind of stuff. So
I find the balance on the mount to be like, I don't know, like, so I have got the DualShock one, so for the DualShock 4, and I've actually played Dark Souls with it, and like a whole bunch of, like I actually progressed through a bunch of Dark Souls doing it like that, because I was like looking after my kids sleeping just to monitor them. So I definitely rate the whole remote stuff, and it's very workable, but yeah, I found that the balance of it's just a bit too top heavy, and it kind of just, I don't even know if it's actually bad. Like, it's probably bad ergonomically, but it didn't hurt my hands. It was more like mentally bothering me, if that makes sense. I was like, I don't like the feel of this. Whereas like I'm a big handheld person, and it's like the feel is huge. Like, it's massively important, you know? And I just look at it, I'm like, I just want like a Steam Deck to be able to like play these cloud games or remote games. Like, that to me, if that works well, like, it's a bit patchy at the moment, but if they work out to make that a lot better, that's going to be a big use case for me with a Steam Deck. It's like, oh, okay, cool. Like, I'm sure it's got a good Wi-Fi modem and all that stuff. So,
I also just like I 100% did all the content Borderlands 3, all the DLCs.
Oh,
and
whoa,
everything.
holy shit, dude!
Yeah, so that was a lot.
That's a lot, man.
I was so in the zone that I moved straight on to that standalone version of Assault on Dragon's Keep, the Tiny Tina.
The Tiny Tina one, yeah.
So the standalone, so I'm working through that one at the moment. Beaten it twice already, because you've got to go through a few times to get your character up to the level.
They're long games. They're long games.
That DLC is not that long, but it's, anyway, like working through that. But in terms of like games that I'm actually going to like talk a bit more to, we've got our Game Pass roundup this week. So I'm going to fire through two quickly. There's no B-roll for these because I just didn't want to put them in. The first, I tried out a bit of Farming Simulator 22, and not much to say. I was surprised Farming Simulator has a character creator. So I was like,
oh, that's new, because I played Farming Simulator 21.
And that didn't have a character?
I don't remember that. I really don't remember.
You could like outfit your dude. Like, I made the most douchiest,
I definitely don't remember.
I made the most like douchiest looking like hipster farmer, and you can wear like actual branded clothes from different, like, I guess, farming equipment manufacturers. I honestly, though, the game's a bit overwhelming. Like, it's a sim, right? But I'm like, I kind of just want to just like hop on a tractor, and you get to do that in the tutorial, and I'm like making bad crop circles and stuff. I'm like, this seems really well made and very, like, it seems really good, but I'm like, I don't feel like I really want to play it more than the tutorial. So that's honestly, I'll stick to probably like life sims like Stardew Valley for my farming fix, I think. So.
Yeah, I'm just checking online. So there was like I think the character creator previously was like a few options, but this has been overhauled in Farming Simulator 22.
I'm glad you're up on your Farming Simulator.
No, like, because my call out to it, because it's the same as what was the lawnmower one called? Lawnmower Simulator or something?
Lawn mowing simulator, I think. I reckon I'd like that one more. I've got to try that one out.
My call out with these games, I'll say this to these developers, they don't really give a shit, but like, you need to be a bit more like Rocket League, right? Where someone could just come in and play these games without being super technical and get through. Like, actually, this is going to be so embarrassing to admit, but I reckon these games could be super like popular, like way more popular than they already are, right? And they're way more popular than you expect. But I find them way too over the top at the start. And it's like, I feel like I need to, do some research before playing the games. They just need to kind of like ease you in a bit better.
So basically, you need a Farming Simulator arcade mode.
Farming simulator. Yeah, you need like the game version of these simulators. Need for farm.
Need for farming, the farming simulator blitz.
But do you get what I'm saying? Like I was playing the actual lawnmower one for like a bit, like a few hours. But then it was like getting too crazy about like what I was doing. Oh, you didn't do this right or whatever. I'm like, fuck, just let me like fucking figure this shit out first, and then I'll like see if I care about this game.
We talked way more than I was planning about this bloody game.
No, but it's just like, I just think there's something very serene and very zen about these games, right? That I feel like if they did them in a way that you can get away with a lot more as a beginner, I just feel like they'd be way more popular.
I think the kind of game for me is something more like Power Wash Simulator, where
you're
just literally going around and it's just like.
But that's what I mean. Like if they were,
I think that's more
like,
my kind of fix.
Yeah, it's kind of addictive, those kind of games, man.
So the next game, so I booted up and finally tried out for the first time For Honor.
Yeah.
So that was added to Game Pass. I thought it may have been in Game Pass in the past, but so that's Ubisoft Montreal's 2017 melee action dueling game. I remember when that game came out, it was slow to start, but actually became quite popular, and it got a lot of long-term support. But I've never tried it myself, so it does have a single-player campaign. But honestly, I went through tutorials and did like a couple levels, and I felt that was kind of enough for me to get an idea of the combat. So the combat's really cool in this game, really unique. It's got like the directional blocking system and parry system, and it's actually the Surge 2 did something similar where it took the parry system where basically there's indicators on the on the sides and stuff, and then if you match that at the right time, you get a good parry. So it felt like that was lifted from For Honor in a way, because it's constantly got those like three directions around the character. Okay. It's cool. Like the action is really fun. It's just I don't feel like I could play that game much for a long period of time. I feel probably a bit samey for my takes, but I mean, I wasn't playing the multiplayer, and the game's really designed for the multiplayer experience. So
yeah, I think if you're worried about a Ubisoft game getting a bit samey, then you got to put it down, because I'm sure it's not going to be not less samey through time.
Well, so. I mean, this is very different than other Ubisoft games. You know, it's a very different thing. But anyway, it's that's For Honor. But the games have actually got some footage for. So the first one is Pac-Man Museum Plus. So this is out on all platforms. Recent release. It's a sequel to a 2014 collection called Pac-Man Museum, and it's on console and PC Game Pass. And in the footage, anyone watching, basically, when the game boots up, it boots you up. You're thrown into like an arcade lobby, and then the game just like throws all these like menus and dialogue boxes that you like. Oh, use credits to use the arcade machines. Oh, use them on gacha to get gachapon things. And I'm just like, it just feels like a really bad start to the game where it just like chucks, here's how to customize your arcade. To me, it should just start with a thing that says, okay, here's how to play the games. I just felt like it was just a real weird way to start it.
Yeah.
I know that it's like they're trying to do something different where you've got this space and it's celebrating Pac-Man. But basically, outside of that, this is a collection of 14 different Pac-Man games. I'm not going to go through them all, but obviously it's got the original Pac-Man.
Does it have Ms. Pac-Man?
So let me get to that. So it's got Pac-Land, Pac-Man. It's got some of the SNES games, including Pac-Attack, which I like. It's got Pac-Man Championship Edition, but not the DX version, which is a shame. It's also got...
That's Nintendo, isn't it?
No, Pac-Man
really?
Championship
Okay.
Championship Edition, not Pac-Man. No, the Championship Edition is the one that got released on like Xbox Live Arcade and all that stuff.
Okay.
But then they released a second one called DX, and I actually liked both of those games a lot.
Yeah, no, I played them as well.
A really cool inclusion in this is Pac-Man 256. So that's from the Crossroad developers.
And did they change the game a little bit? Because that one, I actually don't mind that game, but I hated the super aggressive monetization in that game.
Well, I mean, I don't think there's any monetization in this game at all, so I'm sure they would have had to adjust a little.
Maybe that's actually a good way to play it, man. I might try that out.
I wish it had some of the, like, there's actually some decent Pac-Man, like, 3D platformers that were released on, like, 360 and PS3 called, like, Pac-Man and Ghostly Adventures, and there were two of them. It's a shame they don't have those kind of games in here, but anyway, they're more recent, I guess. But look, obviously, if you love Pac-Man, this is going to be great. I'm not a huge original Pac-Man fan. I know you're a fan. I think just everything around the games was just a bit of a miss for me. So it was just a weird collection, but they play okay. I don't know how accurate they are to the arcade originals and whatever. Pac-Land played fine, and that's probably the game I'm most familiar with from the earlier Pac-Man games.
Probably better than the Atari Pac-Man, I'm guessing, but
I imagine so.
Yeah, well, like I don't know why game. It's just, I guess it's just lack of budget and production, because games that just whack you with 100 tutorials at the start, I still ultimately just feel like that's just poor design. That you're not just naturally inclined to go, like, it's the old school thing about Super Mario Brothers. Like, hey, the Goomba's coming at you. You better jump over it. You're gonna die. So you learn about jumping. All this kind of stuff. Like, why wouldn't it be just like you're thrown in the game and one of the machines is like a little bit more highlighted? Oh, I'm gonna go over there, and all that kind of stuff. So
and with this, you can press a button and it brings up a menu on the side that gets you quick access to the games. But the weird part is not all the games are available right at the beginning either. Some of them you've got to like play another game twice.
That's kind of annoying
to unlock it. It's like really
kind of hate that shit, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a bit weird.
It feels like just padding it, right?
It is.
I mean, like, but wait, did you say about Ms. Pac-Man?
Oh,
thank you,
yeah.
Thank you.
No, I was going to say you threw me off my. You threw me off my,
you didn't
my
mention
flow.
It. You didn't mention it.
No, Ms. Pac-Man is not in here because that is technically not an Namco game. So,
well, I think it's a bit more than that because there's a big dispute going on about it at the moment.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's been dispute for a long time, but I know at the moment it's flared up again. But no, there is no Ms. Pac-Man in this collection. So
yeah, it's pretty crazy, the whole thing about Ms. Pac-Man, because it started as a hack. And then there's an interaction between Japanese law, which is really crazy on copyright. It's like really specific to Japan. Like, it's the only country in the world that has really specific things around copyright. And then North America. But if you make derivations of a character, you don't own that. Like, even if you've done the work, you don't own it, right? So, I don't know. Because they've actually gotten rid of Miss Pac-Man from a Namco perspective. That's why I was wondering if they've got the new... Miss Pac-Man. I can't remember what they call her. Have you heard about this?
Do we want to get into it now?
No, but I'm just like...
There's a lot of information there. I just don't want to give wrong information, that's all. So there's a lot around this story. So
yeah, no, but I'm just trying to... Do you remember like what the new Ms. Pac-Man is called?
Not really, to be honest. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't... Like, this kind of stuff that if I knew we were going to talk about it, I would have probably learned a bit more about it. All I know is there's a lot of bullshit revolving around Miss Pac-Man and Namco not kind of wanting to represent that. So yeah, because there's also been like the little
that's what she's called.
The mini arcade things as well, where they were trying to put that out. I don't know if it was at Games or someone else, and all this stuff.
So what they've done is they've changed every appearance of Ms. Pac-Man to Pac-Mum. And they've taken the little red ribbon thing, and now she's got like a pink hat. Like, it's probably in this game, dude, and you haven't noticed it. Because they wouldn't have Ms. Pac-Man in this game. They would have changed the sprites.
Yeah, but it's not like of the 14 games that, unless it's a secret unlockable.
Pac-Land has it. Has Ms. Pac-Man.
Yeah, but I'm saying it doesn't have Ms. Pac-Man, the game. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, sure. Because the game itself is also disputed. The character and the game separately. So, yeah. Anyway, like, Pac-Man's such a weird game because it sort of never really went beyond, honestly, its first game, right? But it's amazing we still talk about it. And, we've been chatting about it for like 10 minutes. So what else have we been playing?
So some of the other games, there's two more. So Space Lines from Far Out. So this is a game from Brazilian-based developer Coffee Noughts. They've released a few games, none that I'm too familiar with. So this is on PC and Xbox, so both Game Passes there. So this game is interesting. So it's basically like a roguelike co-op game where you pilot around like a cartoony ship, but you complete different missions while trying to like make your passengers happy. The way I've heard it described is basically if you take something like Overcooked, the vibe of it, but then mix that with something like FTL, which I've never played, but basically where you're making sure a spaceship is operating, and you mix them two together, you kind of get this game where, but then you mix that, I guess like FTL with that roguelite element where you're going on runs and things are different each time. And I didn't play that much of this. It is mainly a co-op game, but they do rebalance it if you just try it out single player as well. So they make some stuff a bit easier to kind of manage if you haven't got co-op people. But yeah, like basically, let's say if you're operating, you have to actually steer the ship, but then also have to make sure the power doesn't go out. And if it does, you got to go like grab the spanner to like fix the generator. And apparently, when you get into the more complex stuff, you don't always have enough power to power everything you need to at once. You have to redirect the power to other places. So it's like that like co-op management sim. It seems cool. Again, probably something like you just need to play with other people to really get, I think, the most out of this game. And like for this, I'm just trying these games out. I'm not sitting down trying to get a session going for them. But I think it's pretty cool. Apparently, like on the roguelite side of it, you get to keep the money you make from the trip if you like just deposit it on I think like at an ATM, but otherwise it's like basically each run starts you over, but you can purchase new cosmetics and new ship designs and stuff like that with that money. So
dude, like because from the start when I started looking at this in the B-roll, if you're watching on YouTube, it's like it looks so much like Overcooked. It's crazy. I feel like it's got the exact same camera angle and like zoom level and everything. Like when I looked at it, I was like, man, it looks like they've totally ripped like the style and art of like Overcooked. Like it kind of was like a bit crazy to me.
it is, but I mean, it plays very differently. It's a lot more complex
I can imagine.
than Overcooked,
From what you're describing, it's way different to Overcooked. But it just looks like it. All right, cool.
Cool. And the last one I'll talk about, and what I've realized is when I structure the games I'm going to talk about, I almost feel like I'm like booking a wrestling pay-per-view where I've got to have like the one at the end.
I know. I was waiting for it.
The one at the end that's like the main event that is like the best game of the bunch.
Well, I'm like Vince McMahon doing things on the fly. Actually, I'll take that back that I'm like Vince McMahon.
The one in the middle that's got to be like the piss break game, Anyway. So the game actually was most looking forward to talking to is a game called Disc Room. So Disc Room, so it's published by Devolver Digital, and the developers are listed just as Terry, Rose, Kitty, and JW. It's really weird when you look up the developer of this game. It's just like names.
Oh, so it's not actually like a name that they put together. It's actually just their names.
Well, I guess so, but I guess technically they probably had to form a company from that, and they just called it that. I don't know.
Weird.
But this actually came out a while back for PC and Switch. So it came out, I think, in October 2020, and just came to Game Pass and Xbox.
Is it on PC Game Pass?
It is now on PC Game Pass as well. So
I'm going to check it out.
PC.
I'm going to check it out.
I reckon you would really enjoy this game, or at least enjoy it for a time, because I feel that this is a game that you can probably play for an hour, and you probably get your fill. But if you want to play more, then it will probably have the hooks in you. It's more like that kind of game, if that makes sense.
Totally.
So this game is basically an action game where about surviving multiple different rooms of like just buzzsaws, and I'm sure it gets super crazy with different objects and stuff. But the rooms are set up almost like a Zelda dungeon where you're moving between them, and it's like a grid, and you can view the like whole grid of maps, the whole map, like the overview, and you can instantly transport, or you can just move between them. But this game is really interesting. It's not just about, okay, I'm just going to run around and survive. What they'll do is they give you all these objectives. So one room's objective might be survive for 10 seconds. Another might be stay within this circle. And then if you go outside the circle, then the time doesn't count up. But then they've got these like meta overarching objectives, like survive 10 minutes across all the rooms available to you. And all the timers of the different ones add up. Or it might be die to 5 different types of buzzsaws, or 10 different types of buzzsaws, because the buzzsaws, like there's boss buzzsaws, like they get really creative with this stuff. And then they start adding these abilities where you can clone yourself like up to 4 times, so that it allows you to pick up items, because some bosses, like you have to pick up items to damage them and things. Another might be you can slow down time, or you can dodge through discs. It's just really fun, and it's the kind of gameplay loop where if you die, it's not frustrating because it's instant restart. So it's almost like the Meat Boy style where it doesn't feel super frustrating. You're just like back in the action. And it's just fun. Like it's got a really cool and unique visual style. It's just, I think.
What's the sound
really,
like?
Really cool.
Or the music?
I can't. The fact that I can't remember
not
it's
notable.
probably. Well, I don't think that's a great sign if I can't remember, but I don't remember it being like the buzzsaw sounded all right.
I think it's like literally the meaning of that word. It's not notable because you didn't note it.
I mean,
I like you almost saying it's. I'm not saying it's not notable, even though I didn't note it.
But the thing is, it's not the kind of thing I'm going to make a note for mentally because I played this a few weeks ago because we had the whole E3 stuff and then we had a week off, so it's been actually a few weeks since I played this. But
yeah, you say that, but the thing is,
really fun.
I find that so many indies have better soundtracks than AAA games.
Oh, they do. I just can't
Like
remember
Hades
this one.
is amazing. Hades music's amazing.
Oh,
like,
Paradise Killer, like there's heaps of great soundtracks. In
Cadence of Hyrule, The Crypt of the Necrodancer, Legend of Zelda, featuring the Legend. Actually, it's featuring the Legend of Zelda. I think, from memory, yeah, like that's an amazing soundtrack. So, but yeah, I'll check this out because I've heard only good things about this game. And
I think you'd really enjoy this.
yeah, it looks really cool.
Yeah.
And you know what this game always reminds me of? Have you ever seen the Canadian movie The Cube? Or Cube, I think it's called. Sorry.
I've seen Cube,
Yeah, which is also a really cool movie because of the way they filmed it. It was like they only had one cube available. So they had to it was like a nightmare to film supposedly. But this game actually, I know that, there's many games like this in terms of the Zelda style layout, but it kind of more so even reminds me of Cube, the movie. Because it's like every room you go into, it's like different puzzles and challenges.
Yeah, I will say that one last thing is that I don't think I've played another game exactly like this. Like, it feels really unique as well. I don't know if there's plenty of games out there and I just haven't seen them, but it felt like a new thing for me anyway.
Yeah.
So
it's more like bullet hell obstacles, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that, like, a lot of these games, I guess, what was that game that I actually downloaded? Vampire Survivor?
Vampire Survivor, yeah.
It's almost like
Mike had to ban himself from playing it.
At least he knows himself, I guess.
Yeah.
But that game, maybe, do you reckon it's a little bit like that?
I think the feeling, like the loop and everything's very different. Like this game is much quicker, like instant action, instant like gratification. Whereas Vampire Survivor's like, I'm going to play this 20 to half an hour kind of thing. This is much quicker.
Yeah.
Game, so,
Fair enough. It is crazy if you look at the schedule because, we've got the forward calendar of games coming out. It's like kind of nothing major coming out.
It's not much, no.
It's crazy how few major releases are, until like October, dude. Unless something big comes out that, it's a shock to everyone.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to a few things, but maybe we can chat about that when we kind of, when we get the post show or something. So.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, let's jump into our first news segment. So the new PS Plus is finally launched in Australia and Europe. What's the latest and what do we think of the service? So the library is roughly around the same amount of PS4, PS5 games. It's approximately 390.
Sorry, there's no B-roll for this. I don't know what you're playing.
Oh, it's got a note.
Final Fantasy.
It actually has a note. It says 8. It says 8 on it.
Oh, whoops.
Yeah, no, I'm like, why is this not playing?
That's my fault.
Again, I am like Anchorman. If you put a note to say, play the B-roll, I'll do it. But there are differences with the US library. So some games are not listed in the game collection page, but are part of the subscription when you look at them up manually. So Mortal Kombat 11 is an example of that. And amazingly, Tekken 2 and other games have got certain errors. So in the US, Tekken 2 was listed at $10,000. Amazingly, when Tekken 2 got released under this in Australia, it was also mispriced at 600 Australian dollars.
$600. That's for like an outright purchase.
How the fuck is that possible? Like one mistake, shame on you. You can't fool me again with a second mistake.
I'll talk a bit more to that stuff when we hit impressions. Around some of that.
But what I wanted to rant about is the PS1 emulation. That we were speculating about this for months. The early, View in Asia, them getting the PAL versions, very nervous. Then the US comes along. They get the NTSC versions. Ooh, okay. There's no such thing as PAL or NTSC anymore. We don't speak German. We don't fucking speak French in Australia. No reason to have PAL versions. Maybe there's a chance we're not going to get PAL versions. And I set this in my head. I'm like, okay, the second this gets released, I'm going on Twitter and I'm also just going to Google like the Australian, because you can Google the Australian catalog online, right?
Yeah.
To see Ape Escape. Okay, is it going to be Sony Interactive North America or Europe? Because then that basically tells you it's PAL versus NTSC. And fucking hell, we got the PAL versions. What bullshit, man. It actually fucking pisses me off so much. And because there's zero reason why we should get the PAL versions. There's zero reasonable reason we should get the fucking PAL versions. And then
it's because we're Europe. We're Europe according to the rest of the world.
Fucking stupid, right? And then this bullshit tweet that they posted actually pissed me off more, right? So this is like PlayStation Europe, and it's actually just been picked up by PlayStation Australia as well. They posted it independently. So, quote, "We're planning to roll out NTSC options for a majority, not all, majority," that's me interjecting, back to the quote, "of classic games offered on the PlayStation Plus Premium and Deluxe plan in Asia, Europe, Middle East, India, South Africa, Australia, and New Zealand regions." Okay, cool. When's that? Like, why did you launch like this? I give them zero fucking benefit of the doubt here. It actually just pisses me off so much. Like, why would they release it like this? It's so insane. They got all the feedback about the PlayStation 1 Classic, which totally undersold. I'd imagine, from their budget purposes, it would have been a big flop internally. And a lot of people calling out, it just plays choppy. It doesn't play the way you'd want to play it. What would possess them to think this is a good idea? I just really don't get it. Because it doesn't even cost them anything, dude. Like, why would they release it like this? It's so weird to me.
Keep ranting. I just want this to keep going.
I'm at a point now where it's just like, I don't think I'll ever sign up because they piss me off so much about it.
Yeah.
And also the library is so shit, man. Like, sorry, I can't believe people are defending it. And, I was checking out Press Start's coverage.
So we're talking the Classics library.
The Classics library.
Yeah, the Classics library, yeah.
So, okay, the cloud thing for PlayStation 3. Obviously, that architecture is super complex and crazy. Seems to be very hard to emulate. And it's a lot of money. It's going to be a lot of money for them. And they're probably going to spend it. Because the thing is, if they build the emulator to work on PlayStation 5... it's probably going to work for PlayStation 6, PlayStation 7, right? Because they're not going to move back to some other crazy architecture. So it's probably worth the investment to do it once off, right? But if someone says to me, we've got PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, PSP, I'm like, cool, okay, maybe 40 PlayStation 1 games, 30 to 40, maybe even 20 PlayStation 2 games, a dozen or 2 dozen PlayStation portable games. Is that an unreasonable thought pattern? Nintendo are the stingiest motherfuckers, and they actually released 30 games on NES, 30 games on SNES. They're up to 20 games on N64, right? This is the stingiest bastards in the industry, Nintendo, right? What the fuck is PlayStation's offer? It's insane. It's 13 PlayStation 1 games. I still don't understand the PlayStation 2 stuff. Am I understanding this correct? It's PlayStation 4 games, which are actual ports of PlayStation 2 games, which some are just straight ports. It's no change to the game. Others are actually fucking remasters or even remakes. I just say this. I was Googling their classics library. They classified Demon's Souls remake on the PlayStation 5, which is part of the whole thing as a classics game as well.
I'll get to that stuff in a little bit because I signed up.
Okay, cool. The last thing I'll say is I got really shitty with the Australian outlet Press Start, right? So they're the gaming media here. They are so fucking in bed with the publishers, and they're like, oh, this is pretty good service, but there's some improvements and shit. And the guy's reviewing the US version of PlayStation Plus and writing an Australian article about it. I'm like, this is fucking pointless, this article. It's most people are not going to sign up to a US account, somehow try to get like a gift card for the US, get the account there. Or, like people are not going to do that in Australia. They want to know if I sign up in Australia, PlayStation Plus Australia, and I play the PlayStation 1 games, are they good? Like what's the service like then? Like what a fucking stupid article. I don't know. That gave me the absolute shits, man. Like, and then afterwards they posted, oh yeah, it seems like they are the PAL versions. They don't run that great. I'm like, guys, it's like literally the biggest outlet in Australia and you're shit. It just drives me nuts, man. So anyway, ran over, just smashed my microphone as well. But
that was awesome. I know we were like texting in group chat about this when they launched during the week, and we're just like save it for the show.
Well, we probably should have. Like, we should have recorded because I was really pissed back then. This is like me chilled out compared. But yeah, so like, what did you sign up to? Like, and again, we need to remind everyone. There's there's Essential, Extra, Premium, and Deluxe, or is it Deluxe Premium?
It's Deluxe is what it's called.
Is Australia? Yeah. And then Premium is the better one. Yeah. Yeah,
Deluxe is the third tier in Australia that is a little cheaper than like the equivalent if you do the American version exchange rate, because it doesn't have access to PS3 games. So it's basically just giving access to, I think it's the time limited game demos or whatever, and the PS Classic stuff, which I'll get to in a second.
Yeah.
So the reason why I actually, because I wasn't planning on signing up for this.
You said you weren't going to. But
I only signed up for 1 month because what I don't really like to do too much on this show, we do it sometimes, is talk too much to stuff that we don't know, or we don't give impressions on stuff that we haven't tried out. So I said, you know what? There's a couple of games on there that I might play within this 1 month, but the idea is I'm just going to try it out. It was like $21 or something. Try it out so I can give impressions on the show, and also there's a couple of random games that I might play. But I'm not extending it until they give us a better library for those classic games. Definitely.
I want to say thank you for your service, Swinny. Swinny is like donated $21 to the show. Anyone in Twitch chat, give us $21 to offset our costs.
Anyway, no, I don't think we can even monetize on Twitch chat. So basically, I just wanted to experience, even though, there's lots of videos and stuff about there where, okay, I just jump in and see what it's like. Now, the first thing is there were lists out there of, as you mentioned, like Press Start, putting out an Australian list, and trying to compare the Australian library versus US library was such a frustrating task. I went through and mapped everything, and then realized that one of them didn't include any of the PS Plus collection. Exactly. And I'm like, oh, God damn it, all that. And then some of them had the PS4 and PS5 games listed twice, and others. And some were just outright wrong.
Yeah.
Whereas I went... And so that's why I'm like, I'm going to actually buy it and look on the console. But we mentioned before about some games, like there's some weird errors out there in this. So the way they've split everything up, there's videos out there, but basically, you've got your full game collection, then you've got like them split into the PlayStation Classics part and then the PlayStation Plus collection part. But the idea is that a game collection part should have them all. But for instance, Mortal Kombat 11 is part of not the PS Plus collection, that's Mortal Kombat 10. It is part of the general PS4 game collection on the new service. But if I look in the game collection, I don't see Mortal Kombat 11 there. But if I search it manually in the store, it says it's part of it and I can download it. So there's weird games that are missing from the full thing. Lots of weird teething issues. So we mentioned the whole weird Tekken price thing, but I was looking at the game collection. I was clicking a few to download. You'll laugh. The first two games I downloaded for PS4 were Balan Wonderworld. And
is that available in there? That's awesome.
And Knack.
Knack 1.
Knack 1.
That's awesome.
So they're the first two games. I actually played the Knack 1, but anyway, I'll talk about that next week. But I actually went to download Concrete Genie.
Yeah.
And it says it's there and it's in the game collection. But if I click through, it said the only option for me is to purchase it.
But you know what? That's like Xbox on like Xbox Game Pass PC. But it's like PlayStation is bad at that on the console, which I think is unforgivable.
100%. There's weird things like that. They will iron that stuff out. I'm not giving him any leeway on that.
Definitely
I'm basically just saying they will iron it out. But it's just like, I think the way it's all set up is really weird, but ultimately you're going to be able to find the game you want if you can't find it, but you know it's in the collection to search it manually, unfortunately. But in terms of so I did obviously try out some of the PS1 games, and we know that some of them, there's a few, I think, that might be running at NTSC, but the majority are running at that PAL.
Yeah.
I think Tekken 2, I'm not sure exactly, but that felt good. So that definitely felt like, I don't know, because I know originally in the Asia version that was NTSC, and that was one of the few exceptions.
Okay.
So I tried it. Tekken 2 feels good. Like, I don't know if it's just the game, but it felt like the input was a little laggy, but maybe that's just because Tekken 2, maybe I'm used to the newer Tekkens. And what are the other ones I tried? So Ape Escape was obviously very rough. It's still, look, all these games technically playable, right? If you go on there, they're technically playable, but it's rough. Like,
But can I just say, that you know what it reminds me of though? It reminds me of, you know, when you go to download an emulator back in the day, more so than now, and it's like on the cutting edge. And some people are like, Mario 64 is playable, but like this one's kind of playable. It's like technically you can beat the game, and what it means is it's fucking fucked up textures, and it's like bullshit. It's not seamless. It should be seamless. Like, these are their fucking games, right? They should be seamless.
Of the games I tried, and this has been like the poster child for all these comparisons, but Ape Escape does feel the worst out of all the games I tried.
Which is like honestly the number one game I'd want to play on it.
Yeah, Jumping Flash, look, it played okay, but also the thing is, it's hard when you don't have a direct comparison as well. Wild Arms looks pretty rough, especially in the 3D battles. We know that was one of the ones running at PAL as well.
One's bad, yeah.
So it is a fucking massive shame, honestly. And the whole collection thing. So you go in there and they're bundled in all these games, all these PlayStation 1 games, alongside those fake PS2, PS4 ports, alongside one PSP game, Echo Chrome.
So it is literally just one PSP game.
One. And they've all bundled into the PlayStation Classics part, but when you look at the icons in the interface, it doesn't clarify if a game is a PlayStation 1 game or not.
Yeah, I know. I noticed that as well.
All it has is like PS4/PS5 underneath it. So for us, we know what the PS1 games are, or the majority of them. But for the average Joe that's like, I've paid extra to get access to this, which ones are the PS1 games? They might not be 100% familiar. Obviously, some of them, they're going to be obvious, but they're not going to be 100% familiar which ones are the actual PS1 games. I can't find any way to just say, show me the PS1 games, even though there's only like 13 of them.
So bad, dude.
But
like, can I just add to the PSP thing? There's 1,925 PSP games that were made, and there's one available. And that's how they're advertising. We have PSP games as part of this subscription. This is almost false advertising, man. That's a port, that game as well, by the way. Right? Yeah. So anyway, go on.
So the fact that they've got in the Classics collection, as you mentioned, Demon's Souls remake, but even Kingdom of Amalur Re-Reckoning, which is a recent remaster, next to a game like Siphon Filter, which honestly, playing Siphon Filter in this day and age is really rough control-wise. I tried. I'll probably try again, but it's tough to control. But it is just so fucking weird.
Why do they have Demon's Souls on there? It's so fucking weird.
Well, just any re-release, anything that support, they just obviously needed to bolster the selection.
Yes,
these are the classics.
It's lies, man.
But the thing is, those games are actually available to you as part of the PS4 service anyways, like the lower tier. Or I should say the middle tier.
Yeah, the middle tier, yeah.
But let me talk about that for a bit at the moment. Like, there's a shitload of fucking great games for PS4 and PS5 in this collection.
It's insane. Middle tier is God tier. Middle tier is God tier.
PS Plus is a tale of two halves.
Yeah.
One is fucking awesome, which is the modern games and the library. Like, the fact that Returnal's in there, the fact that Spider-Man Miles Morales is in there, the fact that
Red Dead Redemption 2, like...
Yeah, there's so many games, even Valhalla, that are games that, like, when you're talking... If you use the service a lot and you want to play a lot of games, you're going to get your bang for your buck there, 100%. Yep. But the other part, that classics part, is just so woeful. Not only in the emulation part, but the library. The library is just
so bad.
And the thing is,
that's a good point. Can we just dwell on that? That's such a fucking good point. Like, it's like, you know, quantity and quality and all this other kind of stuff. It's poor quality and poor quantity. Like, they've actually fucked up both. They don't need to fuck up either, but they've somehow managed, in my opinion, there's no PS2 games on there. this fucking bullshit PS4 crap, that's like not what I was expecting at all, right? Then PSP, one fucking game, right? Like, they fucked the quality and the quantity. It's like, at least they could have just pumped in more games and go, yeah, the emulator's shit, but, you know, we're working on it. And you kind of go, oh, okay, like, you can live with it. But it's bad on both fronts. Fuck me.
Yeah, so look, I think in terms of impressions, is this service worth it? I think the second tier service, if you use it, obviously, you know, all these subscription services comes out the caveat, you've got to use it, otherwise it's not worth it.
Yeah.
Is 100% worth it. Like, while I'm only trying it for a month, you know, the fact that I'm able to just play a bunch of games in that month is probably even worth the $20, you know, like I plan on playing, like there's a bunch of games that are pretty short that I'm like, okay, PS4 games that I haven't played before, you know, but those PS5 games are massive, you know, so that you're going to get your money's worth out of that. But the classics part is 100% not worth it, especially until they figure out or they add in the NTSC versions. And again, we don't know if it's going to be how many it's going to be. Like, surely they've got to fix the first party Sony ones in there, you know. Well, actually, I think they're all first party at the moment. But anyway, it's except Resident Evil Director's Cut. But yeah.
Yeah, I think like they need to get PlayStation 3 emulation working. So it's not cloud, right? I feel like that's a threshold. That's a minimum threshold for me. And then totally bolster the emulator and then also the library of the thing. You know, like to recap, it's like, because I've shat on it like so much, obviously, but the PlayStation Plus Deluxe tier, the highest tier for Australia, to me, that's like trash. That's trash tier, right? And it's the most expensive tier, funnily enough. The PlayStation Plus Extra tier, the middle tier in Australia, which works out to be about like, if you subscribe for a year, like $11.25. That's like God tier. That's if you like, sure, if you're like me, even who's like had a PlayStation 4 or 3 and bought some games, not even that many, it's sort of like, it's still good, but it's not that great. But for you, who's like, you didn't have a PS4, it is insane. It's like, honestly, it's better than Game Pass. It's better than Xbox Game Pass. You don't have the day and date stuff, but the library is insane for the amount of money you pay.
It is bloody awesome. And the only reason why I wouldn't probably just like the next month just stay on that lower tier is just there's just lots of games that I'm playing that I just, again, like I don't want to pay for a service I'm probably not going to use. But in the future, 100%, like there's so many good games.
Can I say two things? One, make sure you go to, and it's so convoluted, but you've got to make sure you go to the PlayStation Plus collection on your PS5 and add all the games. Yeah. Because so that will stay part of your library.
So that does stay.
The PlayStation Plus collection. All right.
So that doesn't expire when your PS Plus
expires. When your PS Plus expires, you won't be able to play them. But if you ever renew or like reactivate it, they're playable.
Yeah,
they will get rid of all of those games eventually.
Yeah, I understand.
They've already pretty much said that they get it. They've already removed, I think, one of the games from there. So, like, they're very good games, the PlayStation Plus collection games.
Oh, crazy games.
Yeah. So, because you could even subscribe to the lowest tier, which is only like $80 a year, and then play those again. And then the other thing is play Spider-Man, man. Like, even just
Spider-Man, man.
Even if it's like for an hour or two, it's fucking awesome game, man.
I'm too busy playing Knack, sorry.
I know. I love it. Balan Wonderworld or Wonderland. I don't even know. Wonderworld.
I'm going to give my Knack impressions next week.
And then fucking like Knack instead of like Spider-Man. Play Spider-Man, man. It's like fucking such a cool game, man. It's like, it's going to go gangbusters on PC. Like, that game is going to sell monster numbers. And I'm jealous of all the people who are going to be playing it on the Steam Deck. But okay, so thumbs up, thumbs down. What do you reckon, Swinny? PlayStation Plus, the new?
Thumbs up, but just get the second tier.
Okay. Yeah, second tier, big thumbs up. Top tier, big thumbs down. Yeah. I think that's what we were all going to expect was going to happen. But man, it's so disappointing. It just shits me that they've put the fucking PAL versions on it. It's like our childhood. It's like trauma. You know,
and that's the thing. It's like, Jumping Flash is exactly how I remember it. Yeah, because of the bloody PAL version.
And like, people don't understand this from America, that we played these games not knowing that we're playing like shitty versions of these games in a way. Like, it wasn't, they didn't make it. They didn't intend it to be played the way we played it. Not all games, but a lot of games that we played. And it's like, fuck, man. Like, I can't believe we have to still live through this, like, 30 years later.
Sony, I can't believe you've done this.
Beautiful segue. All right, let's jump into the next bit of news. Over to you, Swinny.
Yeah, so we had a whole bunch of recent interviews with Final Fantasy XVI producer Naoki Yoshida, commonly known as Yoshi-P. So it actually gave us a whole bunch of cool info and answered a lot of our questions we had about Final Fantasy XVI. And some of them, bigger than others. But basically, these news tidbits come from a whole bunch of interviews. He was just like on a roll. Game Informer, GameSpot, IGN, your favorite website, Press Start in Australia, Famitsu, and 4Gamer, a bunch of Japanese websites as well. And I guess the top line thing is the game is currently playable from start to finish. Final Fantasy 16, but they still obviously need to do a lot of the play testing. They've still got to do the non-Japanese voiceovers and things like that. So a lot of work still to go, but the fact the game's currently playable from beginning to end is a great sign for the fact that they'll probably stick to I can't remember exactly what the release date is. I think currently it just says 2023, or do we know? Can't remember if we're going to know an exact release date. Did we get one?
No, it's just 2023. But I think everyone's impression now is that it'd be very weird if they released Final Fantasy 16 and then 7 Rebirth. Wait, is that right?
Rebirth, yeah.
Yeah. Part 2 of that trilogy, of the remake trilogy. It'd be weird if they release them in the same window. And it's pretty much like certain that Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth's going to be like holiday next year.
Yeah.
So therefore you feel like this, if it's already playable, and it, like, from rumors, I guess they're saying it got delayed. So
yeah,
it was probably meant to be out this year. You'd think it's going to be coming out in like May or something next year.
Yeah.
Which would be cool.
So some of the news, so some of the big ones, so the setting and world. So they've confirmed that, this game will take place over the course of different periods of the main character's life. I guess, the world's life, but you're playing as a main character in this, when he's a teenager and in his 20s and 30s. So it spans a long period of time, which is a cool concept. There's been time skips in Final Fantasies before, but nothing that I can remember to that extent. Oh, Final Fantasy 15 did it, but anyway, not to this level. But unlike Final Fantasy 15, this game is not open world. Now, they never insinuated it would be, but we didn't know what they were going to do with that. Because with Final Fantasy 15, it was open world, although some of it was a bit on rails and a bit hard to explore at the beginning, but then it funneled you in the final chapters on a linear path. So this game they're calling it, God, Japanese developers and their ways of explaining stuff sometimes, will have an independent area-based game design. So I'm taking this to be, it's closer to like Final Fantasy 12, where you've got some like openish areas that are connected to each other by like loading screens and things like that. And I'm all for that. Like, I don't need another Final Fantasy open world, to be honest.
Which is actually the language that they're using around the new Sonic game, Frontiers. They're saying it's open zone, not open world. It's almost like this. It sounds a bit like open zone, right?
Well, but I think I get the impression with Sonic Frontiers that they're kind of, you load into levels. It's almost like a hub area.
Yeah.
Whereas
but you don't think this is going to be like that?
No, I think this will be like 12, where it's just, some maps might have a decent size to them, but they're just connected to each other,
okay.
And because what they basically said is they want this game to have more of a global scale to it. So having it as an open world limits their ability to do that a bit. Why? Okay, we want to have them maps in another kingdom. They're not going to be able to then do the open world between the whole stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm all for this, and there's been a lot of confusion out there. People being like, "Oh, Final Fantasy 7 and 8 were open world," and it's like, no, they had overworlds. They're not open world games. They're not the modern, like your Grand Theft Auto, your Witcher 3,
go anywhere you want,
Assassin's Creed Origins, So some of the other cool stuff. So in terms of like the battle system and Acons, which are like the summons in this game. So Clive is the only play-controlled character in the game, which we expected based on the Dominance trailer that they recently
Which Mike
had.
wanted to really know as well, right?
Yeah, but he will be joined by AI-controlled party members at different points throughout the game. So that is very similar to how Final Fantasy 15 launched. Eventually, they gave you the ability to swap to the other party members. But
Okay.
and as he gains the power of those Acons and summons throughout the game, he then gets new ability trees based on those powers. So in the trailer, you saw that you were able to swap between them on the fly. Like, okay, I'm going to use Titan's power here. I'm going to use Ifrit's power here. And it changes the abilities like in the quick, like the context menu.
Yeah.
And basically you'll be able to like change that mid combo. So it is very Devil May Cry in that regard. So, swap ability sets mid combo is really cool. Also the Acon battles, those big summon battles. So we saw it in the trailer. Apparently each of those epic battles will be unique gameplay wise. So one of them might be more like a 3D shooter. Another one might be like a pro wrestling style kind of like grapple fight.
Yeah.
Another might be like a large scale battle. So they're making those as these huge epic set pieces, but with different gameplay for each one, which is a cool idea.
That's kind of
It
crazy.
almost gives me like a Sura's Wrath or vibes to that, So yeah, I'm up for that. And some last other things. So all the voice acting, English voice acting will be in British English, so no American accents, which is good for consistency, I think. Unlike other Final Fantasy games, this game will have a mature rating. So we did know that previously, but in some of those interviews, Yoshi-P actually talked about the fact that they really didn't want to be limited. They wanted to explore some themes and stuff that maybe, they haven't been able to in past games because they've been restricted by a lower age rating. And the last part is that they have no plans for, they said tertiary content at this time, but basically DLC content.
Tertiary content. What's secondary content then?
Well, secondary content might be like updates. I don't know. So, anyway, but basically, I don't think they've got any DLC plans at this time. But look, I mean, the only mainline Final Fantasy games had DLC was 15 that I can remember. So,
And then all got cut back and everything, right?
Well, yeah, their second wave of DLC got cut back.
Crazy.
But look, honestly, Final Fantasy 15's DLC was probably my favorite part of that game anyway. But
I remember you liking that. And I want to correct one thing. They did announce this is coming out in, and we hate this in Australia, summer of 2023. So we did know that beforehand, which is our winter.
Cool.
So
cool.
Summer, I think, is anything up to mid-September. So that's interesting.
So basically mid-year next year.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, September's pretty late, right? It's almost up to Q3. So you're going to get this at launch or?
I mean, I'll see how it launches. I have a lot more faith in this than I do the way that 15 launched, but the vanilla 15 was pretty rough in terms of the game structure and how the narrative had gaps in it. Yeah. But I don't expect this to have that issue just because it just feels like they've got their head on their shoulders a lot more with this game. So, we'll see.
You might become a trophy hunter, given this is going to be PlayStation 5
I have trophy notifications turned off on PS5.
Whoa, this is.
I told you that ago.
I don't recall that. Jesus.
I don't even don't even factor in my mind. So I forget they exist.
Like how I treat all of them. Okay. All right, let's get to the next bit of news. FromSoftware president Hidetaki Miyazaki. Is he the president? I didn't even know that. That's kind of crazy.
Yes, he's the president. Yeah.
Wow.
He became the president. He became the president. I can't remember exact timeline, but it was after like Dark Souls and all that stuff.
Damn. So. Okay, sorry, I'm derailing the whole thing. Has confirmed that their next title is in the final stages of development. So in a recent interview with 4Gamer, Miyazaki discussed the different projects that they have underway. On his new project in early development, as director, I'm already working on the next title. In the medium to long term, I'd like to work on a more abstract fantasy than the past titles, end quote. So FromSoftware's next title, Miyazaki confirmed that their next title is in the final stage of development. Based on previous statements, the game has been in development planning since around 2016. It's rumored to be a new Armored Core game based on the leak from a customer survey in January. In 2017, the interview with IGN, Miyazaki confirmed that they were working on a new Armored Core game, and the last title in the long-running series was 2015's Armored Core Verdict Day. So balancing his roles as president and director, supervising other projects he's not leading, quote, But in that case, I'm not the director. I'm not the subject of the vision, and I can't take responsibility until the very end. So I feel that any unnecessary intervention would have a lot of negative effects on the game and the project. End quote. Were you eating something just then? I thought I heard a rapper or something.
Sorry, no, it's just like the straw part on and up and go. I just want to, I like was trying to find the best way to kind of like structure these quotes and everything.
Yeah.
To be clear, their next product that is in final development is not the game that Miyazaki was talking about.
Yes,
he's directing.
Yes, that's a good point. People are getting that confused. Like I've seen some people like on Twitter more so, kind of like making it out as if it's like their next game, like a new Souls type game is coming out next year. I'm like, what? No, I don't think that's what you're saying at all.
Look, it is a 95 to 98% chance that title that is in final stages is the Armored Core game because it's been rumored for so long. It is rumored to be Armored Core 6, even though there's like 20 games in the series, basically like a lot of spin-offs and mobile, not like PSP versions and stuff. I've got a couple of the Armored Core games, but I've never actually jumped into them yet. Obviously I'd like to try it out, but it seems like that is the next game. So I guess the question for me is Miyazaki's game he's talking about that's in early development is the one that is likely to be a Souls-like.
Yeah.
But the fact that he's saying more abstract fantasy than past titles, is he going to beat Deck 13 to the punch with the Egyptian Souls-like that I keep, sci-fi Souls-like that I keep wanting them to announce that probably doesn't exist?
Well, I was going kind of even further, I guess, into almost like the Greek gods or something like that. Like, I'm not even sure what abstract fantasy is in that context.
Well, I mean, look, a lot of the like Elden Ring and like Souls games, like Elden Ring takes a lot from like Welsh mythology and like all these different like like Gaelic mythology and all this stuff. But so they're not going to like lift anything wholesale, but like just think of like something that is inspired by Egyptian mythology. I think would make such a cool setting. I have no idea. Like obviously everyone wants them to be making Bloodborne 2, and I think you could make a Bloodborne 2 and the setting be kind of like a bit different than the first one. I think you could manage that, and still have like the whole like blood ministration kind of plot line or like subtext and all that stuff. But yeah, it's wild that I definitely don't think it's Elden Ring 2, that's for sure. So.
No, and I'm glad about that, to be honest. I have to say with Miyazaki, it's kind of an insane story for this guy. Because I didn't know until you just said about the whole president thing. I was checking it out. I'm like, that's kind of insane that he's the president of FromSoftware now. Because FromSoftware is like been around for like forever, man. Yeah. Like 86 it started. And he only joined in like 2014-ish or like, no, 2004 or something. Ballpark.
Man, that's just goes to show how good and how important Dark Souls was. Like that was the game that obviously like shook the industry at the time. That be our president.
Well, but like that's I kind of viewed him as almost like a Miyamoto kind of thing, where it's like he's called something like that, but he's not the president. He's not the CEO. But I'm looking at it, I'm like, it does seem like he's the key person at FromSoftware. Like there's a managing director. Maybe the managing director is almost like the CEO. I don't know. But it's insane. Like he was working at like Oracle, Miyazaki, in accounts management, right?
Like Oracle Souls. There you go.
And he's literally playing like a few PlayStation 2 games, and he's like, wow, these games are amazing. I wish I was like a game designer. And it kind of just started from there. Like, and it was like he literally started when he was like about 30, like jumping into actual, like anything about gaming. Like, it's friggin' what a crazy story. Like, to jump in relatively for everyone else so late and then having such an impact on the industry, like to such a crazy degree. So, but hey, I look with Armored Core, firstly, like, have you ever played any Armored Core games?
So the only one I played, I think, was the first one on I think it was on PlayStation. And I only played it because it was on a demo disc, so I didn't get to I didn't play the full game or anything.
Yeah.
But I remember at the time, like, people thought that was an awesome game.
Yeah.
And the other ones like are very well regarded as well. But I remember at the time, people were like, oh, Armored Core is cool, like because it was a bit of a unique take on the whole mech combat thing. But yeah, so yeah, the first one from 1997. So
Well, like I knew Armored Core more than From Software. Do you know what I mean? And then it's kind of flipped now, where it's like you kind of know From Software because they're just like so highly regarded. And it's funny how Armored Core is now, by far like not a top franchise for them anymore, really.
well, they haven't put one out in like 9 years. So
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, and how many Souls games have they put out in that time? It's insane.
Yeah.
It's totally insane. But yeah, look, like I am interested. Like, do you feel like this means that there's 2 games on the go internally? They got like 300 people at the company.
Well, I mean, they definitely have 2. We know there's 2 games.
No, but I'm saying, is there 3 games or is there 2 games?
Oh, I don't know.
Right?
Like the fact that he's talking about supervising other directors, it wouldn't surprise me if they have another team working on something else. But it could be a smaller project, like they did. I think it's Deracine. I think that PlayStation
that's
VR
true.
game.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, they did that.
Back in that 2017 interview of IGN, they talked about having 3.5 lines of development going on, and the 0.5 was Deracine.
Okay.
So one was Sekiro, one was Elden Ring, one was this unannounced game that's new in development, and the 0.5 was Deracine. So they could definitely do a smaller game. They could do potentially a PSVR 2 game. Like I don't know how well Deracine went, but yeah.
Yeah. And like, and shameful for both of us that we haven't played Sekiro, but I was watching a bit of Sekiro on YouTube. I'm like, this game looks so amazing, man. Like, I was watching it, I'm like, holy shit, this game looks so good. It looks really hard though. I'm actually seriously nervous about playing it because I feel like it's just going to be too hard and it's going to drive me nuts. But
well, I feel like other people feel about the Souls games. I don't want to play Souls. And then you're like, no, it's okay. You get to learn it. And, that's what people that are fans of Sekiro like to people to like us right now. Like, you learn it. You learn the flow.
I get ya. And look, I would never say the Souls games are easy. I think that's also now becoming a ridiculous take, right? I do think you can, change the balance a bit. But even like the easy mode of Souls games is still kind of hard, right? Compared to most normal games. But yeah, anyway, what I was just trying to say was with Sekiro, it's fucking insane to me to think they were making Sekiro release it while they're making Elden Ring. And then they release that like a couple of years after. And it's fucking both amazing games. Like, these are games that if people ever made this as a studio, they could almost rest on their laurels and go, okay, like we made that game. You can always... People are going to buy our games because they're going to be hunting for that, high again. So chasing that dragon, but far out, man. It's going to be interesting. I don't know. I don't feel like I'm going to play this Armored Core game if that's what it is. But I hope it's a surprise. I hope it's something that people aren't expecting, but it does seem like it's going to be Armored Core. All right, let's jump into the next story. And thank God Mike isn't here.
Well, yeah, so we're talking about NFTs, our favorite topic
NFT,
on the
baby!
show that we don't avoid talking about all the time. But there were just 2 stories this week that I just thought that, look, now's the time to have a bit of a, bring the NFTs back into the show, talk about, making our NFTs. So we've got, those 2 stories. So I'll start off with the first one, which is Square Enix. So Square Enix basically are now saying that they want to... we know that Square Enix love NFTs, right? They're all over them, and based on the way they handle mobile monetization, it's not surprising that they're kind of, gearing up for an NFT-based future. But what they basically did in a recent 2022 shareholders meeting report, they reiterated their intentions to incorporate NFTs into their business model, including the development of blockchain games and entertainment and the production of NFTs that will focus on stories. So story NFTs. But they said it's still too early to consider making Dragon Quest and Final Fantasy blockchain games.
What?
And I'm like, yeah, but they're probably not counting mobile on that. Like, there would 100% be a bloody blockchain Final Fantasy game. Like, all their mobile Final Fantasy games, I'm like, oh, that looks cool, like Brave Exvius and Record Keeper, which is actually shutting down this year now. And then I download them and I'm like, nah. Just the monetization is just so abhorrent, I feel like. And the thing is, there's good parts about those games. People love them.
Yeah.
But with this whole NFT thing, so bring it back a bit to the recent sale of like Tomb Raider and Deus Ex and Eidos Montreal to Embracer Group. So at the time, in the statement they made, they basically said those sales enable the launch of new businesses by moving forward with investments in fields including blockchain, AI, and the cloud. And then, like, less than a month, they walked that back and basically like, oh no, rather than using the proceeds from the divestiture of those properties in new investment domains such as NFT and blockchain, we intend to use them to primarily fund our efforts to foster, solid IP. Basically saying, oh no, we're not going to use the profits from those sales to make NFT stuff. But right after they said they would. So,
but the thing is,
weird stuff
anything
going
like
on.
that though is a bit of it's all PR bullshit because
Oh fuck yeah! Of course.
internally into a company, money is fungible. There's no such thing as like, I'm going to sell this business to get this money and then use that money for this. Money's all fungible. It's basically, here's the budget of what I want to do. You sell things, sure. It's just distributed across the whole budget, right? So
I
they're
know.
still doing the same thing. If they're investing in it, they're not really changing their minds. So
No, but I'm just saying, like, to have a statement saying it enables them to do that, and then say we're not going to use the proceeds from this to do this. It's like, it's all bullshit and PR, as you said, but
Yeah.
it's just weird. Like, they're pretty open about them wanting to do this stuff. So, anyway, story NFTs. I'm trying to think, like, what is a story NFT? Do you buy an NFT and you get like a little piece of story content in the game that's using it?
I think
Is that
that's
what it is?
like, and I've got to be careful with what I say, but I've observed it at like the most senior levels of like big corporates, how people can just misunderstand something. Like they'll talk about something that I'm like something cutting edge. And I was like into the crypto stuff right at the start. Like when Bitcoin was like literally a couple of dollars, right? For one Bitcoin. And the amount of like misunderstanding I've seen in that whole field in the last like 10, 15 years is insane, right? But I can see how this can happen where people kind of like look at this thing and they go, like, we're not going to, like, we were left behind with the mobile craze that happened, right? We missed the boat. We missed the good money. Some other companies have come up and like dominated us a bit. And we're getting our hooks into that, but we could have been bigger. And I can totally see like some really senior execs looking at the NFT stuff, the blockchain stuff and go, we're not going to miss out. We've got to get in there. We've got to invest and just not understanding the use case and also like what's the purpose of what's the problem it's trying to solve. And that's always my challenge with this stuff. Like, I don't think the fundamental technology is bad, but you can take a really good piece of tech, like a hammer, right? And if I try to eat a meal with a hammer, suddenly a hammer looks really bad, right? It's not the hammer's fault. It's like how I'm using it and what I'm applying it to. It doesn't make sense, right? And I sort of look at the whole universe like that, and I just worry about these companies that are going to spend so much money. I feel like they're just going to dust this money, man, and it's a shame, but...
Well, I just think, look, yeah, if they have a blockchain-based game, right, and then they have, okay, we're going to put on sale all these NFTs and they have unique quests in them, and it's like, oh, I could see that. I've never thought about that kind
shit,
of...
man.
I've never thought about that idea, but I could see someone at Square Enix being like, yeah, we could make a lot of money off that if we kind of, we base it around one of our properties that, people love and then they feel it's all FOMO. We're missing out on stuff,
Yeah.
and oh God, it's slippery slope.
I see it like the other way in a weird way where, like, I think the blockchain stuff, but do I need blockchain for this? Not really. But it's almost like there is something cool about the idea that you're laying down tracks that you can never take off. Like that's something a blockchain allows you to do. Like you're doing stuff that can never be fixed, even by the developer. So there's something about that concept I think is appealing. Like the idea, like Ultima Online back in the day where someone hacked it and killed the creator in game and they had a funeral for him and everything, like Lord British.
Yeah.
I kind of like the idea of like, if you had a game where it's on a blockchain, but that therefore changes in the game can never be even changed by the developer. Like that kind of stuff is interesting to me, but it's not from a money perspective. It's like from a creativity and like doing something new with the medium,
Well, that's why I was just bringing it back to like them saying that story focus part, because I cannot think of other things, but just trying to understand that. And like, I don't know, maybe is there an NPC in an MMO style shared world game, is there an NPC linked to that is then now in the world because someone has completed their quest and other people can see them, It's weird. It's weird.
It is weird.
But the other NFT story, and we probably won't spend too long on this one, is that we've had a new studio headed up by some veterans of I guess, was it Visual Arts Service Group and Bend Studio at Sony. Have launched a new studio called Lethos, and their first game is an NFT game called Ashfall. So the two veterans who've got, I got rid of his first name from here, but was it?
I'll look it up quickly.
Yeah, it's something Mumbauer. I had it in there, and then I reworded this whole thing, but Mumbauer, he's the CEO of Lethos, and he spent 30 years as the head of Visual Arts Service Group. So they worked alongside Michael
Mumbauer. It sounds like you're insulting Michael. Sorry, Mike Mumbauer.
But they often worked as like a support developer alongside like Naughty Dog for Last of Us and Uncharted and that. And he also was recently co-founder of a company called That's No Moon that he's left. And John Garvin, who's the vice president creative at Lethos, and he was the former creative director and writer at Days Gone developer, Bend Studio, that I mentioned. So I just wanted to just call out this description of this NFT AAA game. I didn't say the AAA part, called Ashfall. And first of all, any game that has the word fall on it and minus greed fall is walking a thin rope there. Just look at Godfall. But they've touted it as the first true Web 3.0 AAA title for PC console and the Hedera network. And
Can I say, what a cursed quote that is.
And I'm not gonna. I've looked up the Hedera network, and it seems like it's a blockchain platform or something. I'm not. I'm so ignorant of all this stuff, and I'm happy to be ignorant. But basically, the quote they have about this Ashfall is: Ashfall will have players fighting to survive in a world scarred by global warming, the ignited volcanic ring of fire, mysterious and disruptive energy fields, and warring enclaves, beginning as a connected single-player adventure that will evolve into a multiplayer PvP and PvE cinematic transmedia world. What a fucking quote. Like, oh my God. The fact that they're doing a game based around in a world scarred by global warming using NFTs and blockchain is just a level of irony that is just so sweet. It's so delicious.
And, like this whole Web 3.0 crap, like... Because, I understand those terms from Web 1.0, which is like the first web that we had, super useful. Web 2.0, making almost like the web more like an application, super like useful.
Facebook.
Yeah. Well, it's a bit beyond that even, but like WordPress. Like it's kind of like an application, but it's all online, right? It's not something I download to use, right? Yeah. And these bastards are like hijacking this terminology and calling it like Web 3.0 to create this cursed fucking hellscape where they can sell their like apes and shit like that. I'm like, I hope it doesn't catch on. Like it's I always like look at Wikipedia as being like the record for the internet, right? And they refuse to change Web 3.0 to match these descriptions. Like they haven't changed. I'm sure there's battles going on about it at Wikipedia with the editors, but man, like I hate how they're calling it Web 3.0. It shits me so much.
Yeah, look, I if this project ever comes to light, I think honestly the fact that NFTs are already so scarred, like the concept and in like the general perception of gamers and everything, by the time this game comes to be, we'll see whether or not that is still something that anybody wants. But
and just on that, it's like I'm actually really shocked at how hard the NFT space has crashed so quickly. Like it was literally just like 2 years ago I heard about NFTs for the first time. Like the kind of concept of a smart contract I've known about for a long time, but for me it was actually about NBA cards. Like they had online NFT NBA cards, right? And the NBA actually did it. This is not some random, And I was shocked. I was like, whoa, people are spending $10,000 on a like online card of like LeBron James. I'm like, this is insane, right? And it just exploded from there.
And look, they're not NFTs, but I just remember I used to work with somebody who used to bet on Counter-Strike Go skins.
Oh, yeah. That was a big whole thing, man.
That's like, I'm not saying they're blockchain or NFTs, but I remember at the time just being like, what? Like, why are these so valuable, these digital items? And the concept is not that far off, really. It's like that supply demand, like dump and pump or whatever, pump and dump, I should say.
Because I'm just reading into it. It's like even with NFTs, when I heard about it in like 2020, right? The trading on the market, because a lot of it you can actually completely understand exactly how much trading is going on. It was 82 million in 2020, the NFT trade. 1 year later, 17 billion. So it went from 82 million, that marketplace, to 17 billion, a 21,000% increase. Like, if you're talking about bubbles and things like that, it's like, that's a good explainer for what a bubble is.
Is that higher or lower than that Super Mario 64 that sold for like 1.5 million?
No, it would be. This is higher. This is higher.
No. I'm saying the increase in value. Like at the time, like I remember it being something ridiculous, like 10,000%.
Well, this is almost 1,000-time increase, right? Yeah. So, actually, you may be right, actually, because even Mario 64s weren't selling for like thousands of dollars. Yeah, that's also, but that's also quote allegedly fraud and stuff like that. Potentially. We'll see the courts, what they think of that. All right, like moving on to our last story.
Yeah, so this week, legendary Japanese developer Treasure have teased a new game, which would be their first in over 8 years. So basically, just to give a very quick rundown, I'm definitely not an expert in Treasure's history, and I don't want to just like regurgitate Wikipedia like I haven't done in the past, but just to give people some heads up, that Treasure were formed in 1992 by a group of ex-Konami developers. So over the years, they've formed a legacy of stylish action games. So these include like Gunstar Heroes, Dynamite Headdy, Alien Soldier, Mischief Maker, Radiant Silvergun, Bangai-O, Ikaruga, and Nintendo Sin Punishment games, alongside others. But basically, they're well known for these, especially run and gun style games. So the footage in at the moment is I think it's Star Successor, the sequel on the Wii for Sin and Punishment. Their last game was 2014's 3DS game called Geist Crusher God, which I'm not familiar with at all. There were 2 games in that series. And apparently, as of this year, they reportedly have less than 10 employees at the moment. So it is... I've looked a bit into it. Apparently, they've gone from making, working on their own engines and stuff to using like middleware and things like that. So I could see how a smaller group could actually put out games in this day and age. Like a lot of indie studios will do it, but it is obviously far cry from what they were working on in the past with bigger teams. But they're celebrating their 30th anniversary this year. So they announced basically they're working on a highly requested game. So this quote, which is probably a bastardized, mistranslated quote, but I'll still use it. We're working hard to announce the highly requested that title in quotes. We look forward to your continued support of Treasure. So it's obviously either a follow-up or a remaster to a game that people are highly requesting, because I'm not sure I don't think it'll be a new IP.
But what game was that though?
Well, that's the thing. Like, could people have constantly been requesting a sequel to Ikaruga, which was almost a sequel to Radiant Silvergun in its own way? Could it be a new Sin and Punishment game, which obviously need to be involved with Nintendo, but I can't see their team size working on that. I think this would probably make sense to be more like a sprite-based 2D game. Not saying they're easy to make, but versus a full 3D game like the Sin and Punishment games. To me, it's either Ikaruga, it's either Sin and Punishment, or it's a new Gunstar Heroes. And they've done a lot of like different Gunstar Heroes over remasters over the years. So I don't know if people will be requesting that because they've kind of been there already. So I just love Treasure games. So the fact that they're just teasing new game and it's been so long, I love Mischief Makers. Hell, if it's a Mischief Maker remaster or whatever, that would be awesome, because that game's highly underrated. I know that at the time when it came out, people were like, oh, what is this game? And then when people actually played it, and then it's like, oh, wait, this is the people that, worked on Gunstar Heroes and stuff, and had that legacy at Konami, like people actually start to appreciate it. So I'd love it to be a new Mischief Makers. So
I do find it funny that they're like, oh, everyone really wants us to make this, that game. And it's like, okay, like what game are you talking about? Because they may get like a lot of people going, hey, we want you to make that game. But it's funny how we, who are not completely, ignorant, have no clue what they're talking about at all.
Well, no, I have a clue in the sense that I know what their popular games are.
Sure, but they're talking about that game. They're not talking about they're not talking about as if there's like a few games that it could be. It's like there's one.
I know, but obviously if someone's like watching their Twitter feed all the time, maybe they get like an idea from the comments and stuff. But what I'm basically saying is, look, the last Gunstar Heroes they put out was 2005, so it has been a while. They could put out a new Gunstar Heroes, and that is their most famous game and probably most.
And that's their first game, right?
Yeah, because that's the game that they left Konami because they were working on Gunstar Heroes. They wanted to make that game. They wanted to stop making sequels all the time. Again, this is like Wikipedia regurgitation. But basically, they wanted to basically make that, and they formed their new studio to do that. But I mean, I don't know. Look, just because Sin and Punishment got a sequel, just because Ikaruga didn't get a sequel, so I could definitely see that.
But it's not as the style of game that typically people would be requesting to make a sequel, right? That style of game.
Yeah, I mean, they could make a game and basically call it a spiritual successor, kind of like what they did with Radiant Silvergun. So, anyway, I love the fact that Treasure might, be putting out a new game. It's probably a very different studio than it used to be. Probably, a lot of the talent isn't the same. But look, sometimes it's the culture that makes a game. It helps get the feeling of the game across.
That's
so
true.
Who knows? Maybe it's still there.
I think it's going to be Gunstar Heroes 3. That's what I think it will be. And I wanted to shout out, because I'm not a big fan of Treasure generally. Ikaruga I love. I think that's actually one of my favorite shmups. And the other game you didn't mention, that's why I just wanted to mention it, was Astro Boy Omega Factor.
Yeah, that's a good game.
I really think that's a good game. And it's kind of it's almost like one of those cult classics that's not really a cult classic anymore, because it's just
you
so
don't like
known.
Gunstar Heroes?
Never got into it, man.
Awesome. And Alien Soldier is bloody awesome as well.
Yeah,
and I think both of those games I believe are on the Switch Online service as well. So
maybe I'll try it out.
I think they've got 3 games on the Switch Online service when I was checking their Twitter. So
yeah, I'm just not a super big fan of what they do generally with all the games they make.
Hater.
All right, let's wrap up the news. And as we do, we will bring up a counter, and Swinny will go through in 1 minute, single minute, all the news of the week that we haven't mentioned so far that we think is of note. So as always, whenever you're ready to GO.
We normally do this once, not in a show where I've just bloody talked so much.
It's true. It's true. So it's 215 words now.
Okay.
So
right.
you got pretty close last time to failing.
I am assuming the position because I have to
That's what she said.
I have to look closer and everything.
And also, can I just say, don't editorialize. You editorialized last week and it almost cost you. You added some.
I still made it, didn't I?
Okay.
It was worth it. It was worth it.
Whenever you're ready.
Creative Assembly and Sega have revealed heist team shooter Hyenas. Blizzard will replace Overwatch with the Overwatch 2 version once it launches in October. Tony Hawk claims that a remake for Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 was shelved after Vicarious Visions was absorbed into Blizzard. Ubisoft Skull and Bones has gotten another ratings board listing indicating a release isn't far away. Sober Studios' sequel A Plague Tale Requiem launches October 18th. No Man's Sky for Switch is now dated for October 27th. Sony, the latest company to confirm non-attendance at Germany's 2022 Gamescom event. Epic Games Store is rolling out random requests for game ratings and polls. Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot has given up a third of his annual paycheck due to missing financial targets. Xbox Cloud Gaming isn't getting mouse and keyboard support. A new PS5 export has opened up data mining opportunities for Demon's Souls Remake, which means secret items added by Bluepoint into the game back in February are soon to be discovered. After decades of speculation, Sonic creator Yuji Naka has confirmed that Michael Jackson did indeed compose music for Sonic Hedgehog 3. And finally, Destiny YouTuber is being sued for over $7 million USD for personating Bungie by sending fake takedown notices to other content creators.
I see you did that comfortable that time. I think you would have had at least 5 to 6 seconds. That's 10% headroom then.
You know what I realized? I shouldn't put the word 2022 in this because 2022 is just one word, but saying 2022 takes so bloody long when you're saying it fast and so many syllables. I'm like, Gamescom's 2022 event. I should not have put the word 2022.
That's actually so funny. You're getting to a threshold where it's words versus syllables. So you need to find simple syllable words.
I have actually thought about that
the
in
meta.
the past,
It's the meta game.
but I didn't realize how bad 2022 was until I said it.
You need to speak more like Trump, just like grade 3 or 4 English. 1 or 2 syllable words only.
Kafefe, or whatever.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I didn't say probably Yves Guillemot, isn't it? Isn't that the
Guillemot. Yeah,
Guillemot.
Guillemot, I think.
A few things here. A few things to pick up.
Yeah. So what I do actually genuinely love about this, because I follow the gaming news on Twitter, right? And sometimes they'll miss like detailed stuff. I didn't know, like I knew that there was going to be Overwatch and Overwatch 2. And then I learned only through you last week, Overwatch 2 is going to be free to play. I'm like, oh, okay, I didn't actually know that. And then this week now I learned they're replacing Overwatch 2 with Overwatch with Overwatch 2.
Yeah.
That's insane. That's not what they said they were going to do.
So, I mean, in the past, they said that they were going to consolidate the user base somehow, right? And nobody kind of, look, they could have talked about it in a lot. They've had a lot of like Q&A sessions and stuff that as we aren't fans of the game, we've obviously not.
I don't mind it. I'm not a hater on it. I just don't play it.
No. I'm saying as we're not like in that community, there's probably stuff that they've talked about in the past.
Well, they said that you could play Overwatch or Overwatch 2. It's going to be the same, like, player base.
Yeah. But I think with the fact that this Overwatch 2 is free to play, the fact that they're just basically transforming Overwatch into Overwatch 2. Look, I can understand
that's the point of Overwatch 2 then? It's so fucking weird.
Well, it's basically, look, because it was using the same engine anyway, it's basically just retooling the whole game, but the weird part is like, not the weird part, but Overwatch 2 was meant to have like this PvE mode that was like one of their big calling cards. And I don't think that's going to be ready for this launch because it's like a beta launch. So it's like even less of what, I could be wrong about that again. But it is... See, the part for me, like, that stuck out for me is there's a whole bunch of people now like, what happens to the achievements for Overwatch 1? Do they all become unobtainable because it's a different game now, but it's the same client? And it's like, yeah. Anyway.
No, but that's a really good point, though. Like, that is... I didn't actually know that, and I always was thinking, what the hell does it mean? Like, you've got Overwatch and then Overwatch 2, and everyone can play in the same multiplayer universe at the same time.
That was always the weirdest question.
But you can only play the certain characters, the new heroes in Overwatch 2, but they're going to be in Overwatch 1 because how could you show it in the game? You just can't play as them. I'm like, fucking weird, right? But the fact that they're just going to blanket replace Overwatch 1 with Overwatch 2 to me is like, what a fucking like embarrassment, the way they're rolling this out. Like, I actually would be like, I'm not surprised actually the main guy left. I can't remember his name. The guy who was overseeing all of Overwatch left.
Yeah, I can't remember his name. Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, would be more familiar.
The guy that sat on Twitch, like, just staring at the camera for hours or whatever.
Yeah, because it's like you would like if you're running something like that, and I've like run big projects before. If you know
Jeff Kaplan.
That's
Jeff
it.
Kaplan.
Yeah. If things are going south, and sometimes it's a big ship, right? And you're like, oh, this ship's gonna sink, right? Like you just know it, right? And it's like, fuck, like I guess he's smart. He just said, fuck it, I'm out. See ya. And I just contrasted it because like Overwatch, like it's still pretty big, right? But it's not what it was at its peak. It won Game of the Year when it released. I just compare it to something like Fortnite, right? Which I know you were saying like Overwatch and Overwatch 2 is on the same engine. I mean, Fortnite, I don't know if you knew this, but it moved from like Unreal Engine 4 to Unreal Engine 5.
I know, it was in 1 Min For The Swin when it happened.
They've put in build mode.
Or maybe Minute Mike, I can't remember how long ago it was.
And do you remember that event that they had? Like their version of Fortnite 2 was when they basically shut down Fortnite randomly and had a whole in-game event.
Yep.
Like brilliant piece of marketing. Like honestly, I still think it's like a top 10 piece of marketing like in the history of gaming. And that's effectively what they did. That's their version of Overwatch 2, right? Like what the fuck? This is bizarre to me. This is actually like now really made me go, what are they doing? It's basically now really Overwatch again. Because I'm not paying for Overwatch 2. And they're just going to replace my Overwatch with Overwatch 2. which like not really that much of a difference. Apart from it's almost just I don't know. Fuck me. That's like that'd be like if they go Rocket League 2. Okay, cool, but you can play Rocket League still. And then as it gets closer, okay, Rocket League 2 is Rocket League now. It's like, why'd you title it Rocket League 2 then? What's the point? I don't understand.
All right. We're spending a long time about
I know, it's just
for a game we don't play.
But it's just weird. I just think it's so weird.
So we had the whole Tony Hawk thing basically saying that they working and look Tony Hawk's
we knew
not an
this.
idiot. Like that is still a shame. Like I still have yet to play the remake of 1 and 2, but yeah, we kind of knew at the time. It's like
it's a shame.
Just
it's a shame.
Getting rid of Vicarious Visions.
At least we got those, like 1 and 2. You know what I mean?
And the thing is, like, Microsoft could get them to do that anyway, So, like, with new management in place and everything, or at least new overarching, business strategy and stuff.
Yeah.
They need stuff to feed to Game Pass. So, and yeah, look, I'm just looking at other stuff. The whole Demon Souls, like data mining thing in the new items they added in. Lance McDonald on Twitter.
Lance McDonald, our boy, Fight Dragon on Twitter.
We considered having that as a segment, but as neither of us played through a lot of Demon Souls, especially not the remake, didn't feel that we could talk to it too much. But the man does good work. I just wish that he would unpin that bloody thing that I always see on his Twitter. It's like some weird music video thing he did.
He's the biggest. I actually love Lance McDonald. The guy is like, to me, a total legend. Like, I love that guy so much. He's such a troll, and he's so interesting as a person. Like, he's done so much work on oh man, I'm blanking. PT, right? Like breaking that game completely apart, like going to the assembly code. He did the crazy figuring out Near Automata's, secret developer mode that was still in the retail game.
Which I used. Thank you, Lance.
Yeah, like the guy's a genius, but he's fucking so funny as well. So he's like a huge Bloodborne fan. I think it's his favorite game. And he's always wanting Bloodborne 2 to come out, or at least a 60 FPS patch. He's actually patched unofficially Bloodborne to run on the PS4 Pro at 60 frames per second. So he's proven that you can do it, right? And the asshole this week, because he was getting more coverage with all this Demon Souls shit going on and stuff, what he did was he retweeted an IGN tweet. And the IGN tweet says this, quote, "Bloodborne's getting a new patch next week, and here's what's inside," right? And to a link to IGN. And he quoted, "Let's fucking go," right? And everyone starts like, oh my God, what the fuck? Like even really big Twitter users, right, in the gaming world. And people wrote articles about it. Like Bloodborne's getting patched and blah, 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 right? And then you look at when the tweet was dated, July 7th, 2015. This guy's a fucking troll. I love it, man. I love it. So, no, it's super interesting. So yeah, there's 3 items, and the Bluepoint confirmed this. So there's items in the game that people haven't found. I think there's 4, but one's supposedly like grains or something like that.
And one is I forget the name of it, but it's like a meme item that was always rumored back in the day. And I think Illusory Wall had written a write up about it as well, a Souls content creator. But look, I really want to play through the original before I play the remake, but the fact that the remake is on PS Plus now, when I eventually get a proper subscription to that, obviously that'll be where I play it. So,
and they're not even really sure if you can get these items. So they're still not really, like, it's in the data, but they haven't also been able to, the point of like, is there some pathway to unlock it? Or is it just like they put it in there as a bit, because, developers are dickheads as well, right? So they could just like put it in the data as a meme inside of the development studio in QA and stuff, and then just leave it there. But like, there's no way to get it. So
they probably just put it in for people like Lance McDonald. So.
Yeah. Maybe. I like that.
Yeah, look, honestly, not a lot of the stories this week kind of like spoke out to me. Obviously, it's great that cloud gaming on PC is getting mouse and keyboard support. That's kind of no-brainer. It's shocking they didn't have it.
Yeah, and I was like, when I tried to use it, like I was like, what the fuck? There's no way to use a mouse and keyboard.
Gamescom is looking pretty rough because a bunch of companies now, Sony aren't there. And Gamescom, for anyone who doesn't know, Gamescom is bigger than E3 in terms of attendance. Yeah, and it's huge. Obviously,
it's in Germany, right?
Happen. Yes, it didn't happen recently because obviously the pandemic and stuff. And the only other thing is the fact that, like, I'm still shocked that No Man's Sky's coming out for Switch. Like, I've seen trailers for it. We talked about Fall Guys before. We talked about Fall Guys before. I'm like, how the hell is that game going to run? Like, I love the Switch, but that seems well beyond it. But hey, The Witcher 3 apparently ran okay. So.
Yeah, I mean, the Switch is funny, right? Because it's kind of was long in the tooth when it released in 2017, right? Like it was kind of struggling then, and now we're like 6 years down the track. It's like shit. But I kind of do look at games like Doom and go, how the fuck did they get Doom to run so well? Doom is amazing on the Switch. Like, it is disgusting that they got that game to run as well as it does. But then you get Fall Guys, and it's like you just never know where it's going to sit. So,
well, look, I know they don't have Carmack anymore, but like the id team are just clearly on another level from a technical standpoint. So we'll see how it goes. Like, it's going to be interesting. No Man's Sky, I never could get. How do I say? Just even the concept, just seriously super unappealing to me. But I almost want to try it at this stage because it's almost like I don't know, it's such a notable game in the industry, right? Well, even when it came to Xbox, like I think the thing for me is that I play a lot of time sync games. I play a lot of RPGs, but RPGs are my thing. Like, they're what really interests me. And the idea of playing another big game that feels like a time sync didn't really appeal to me. But Mike loves it, like, and swears by it, and I'm sure it's a fantastic game, especially the state it's in. Interestingly, just to clarify, the Switch version won't have any multiplayer features, which is fine because game was single player at launch anyway. So
was it? I thought they said it was multiplayer at launch, and you know,
you just wouldn't. There's no chance of meeting people in the amount of planets.
That's so awesome.
Anyway, they've redeemed themselves.
They have. It's an amazing story. It's an amazing story.
Yeah.
And I think just the last thing, and then we'll close the show, but him winning the award at the Game Awards was so awesome because he even said, and I think it was genuine. Maybe it's not, but I thought it was genuine. He was actually drinking his beer when they announced the winner because he was a bit like, I'm not going to win because everyone hates us, right?
Yeah.
And then when they announced his name, he was a bit like, oh shit, like me? Like what? And I do love that. That's pretty cool. I'm sure it's fake because the guy's a bit fake. But all right, let's wrap up the show, Swinny. We have gone quite long, actually, amazingly, in the end. Yeah. But what you said you wanted to talk about some stuff post-show.
Oh, no. Just no.
Is that the delay tactic?
That was just hey, let's move on because we're running long. I was just gonna say there are some things coming out. I can't remember what they all are. So, but they're smaller games. There's there's like DLC for Hellpoint that's coming next month, and I'm looking forward to and stuff. But yeah, in general, not many games. So.
But it's an amazing time to actually catch up on a lot of stuff, right?
Yes, it is.
Like, that's kind of what I'm doing, going back to these games that I haven't played through. And, I'll be buying Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Not that I'll play it. This is now like 4.
It'll sit next to the others.
Literally, we'll have 4 Xenoblade Chronicles games that I have not touched. And I don't want to shit on those games because I'm buying them. But, man, you know how we're talking about the tutorial systems and menus and stuff? Xenoblade Chronicles 2, it's insane. It's like 10 hours of that. Like, what I mean, like, you'll be 10 hours in the game and it'll be like, let me do a tutorial about this gameplay element. And it's just, like, super lengthy.
Yeah, I mean, look, that happens in a lot of RPGs, but it's the same deal. It's like, obviously, Final Fantasy XIII is the worst example of that, where it literally doesn't unlock features until 10 hours in, So.
Yeah, but that's actually the same as Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Like, there's features that you don't get until 15 hours into the game, and there's a big tutorial about it. But for me, the biggest one is Splatoon 3. Like, I'll probably take a day off work, like, because I don't know, I just want to get immersed in that game. I really love Splatoon.
Put your team statuses, like work from home or whatever, like playing Splatoon 3. Just see how people like that.
Maybe I'm like playing a Splatfest. It's all right. And then see how that will be received. Watch out for my splat zone.
Oh god.
All right. With that, I think we'll wrap up the show, Swinny.
That sounds good.
All right. Bye-bye.
See ya.